Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. And welcome especially to our 100th episode. Woo! My name is Kale. I'm incredibly influential.
We probably should have figured this out beforehand.
One of you is highly successful. The other one of you is highly successful. Fucking figure it out.
I'm Danny Eden, and I am highly successful.
I'm Maxwell Foster. I am highly successful.
April 5th, 2024. I was a little bit off when I said that this would be the 2-year special. But you know what? 100 episodes, baby. Woo! I'm for all you folks at home, I'm drinking. Feel free to drink along with me. If you're too young to drink, and you still live with your parents, go to the top shelf. That's where your parents hide the good shit.
This is not everyone's advice.
Woo! I put in a little too much Jaeger into that Jaeger bomb. I love it. I put in like 3 shots. Holy shit. But yes, Danny's back with us for episode 100. Un ciento. Holy fucking shit. This is crazy. I think we should just start out by saying, what are some of your guys' favorite memories from the show?
Maybe our last crossover where we roasted you into
I did
was
like
fun.
that.
To a
That
char.
was a good one.
That one was fun.
I liked a couple of the really early ones that me and you did, where
Yeah.
we had like this kind of ongoing joke where you would just try to get me with like a D's nuts thing.
Yes.
That was a fun little trope for a while. I don't know if y'all continued that, but I know
I
that was a
sometimes
thing
get
for a
him.
while.
I sometimes get him. It's rarer now.
There's like the fitness one, and there's a couple
Fitness
other
and
ones.
CDs, yeah.
Yeah, fitness and CDs, of course.
The Maya one actually got you, and I stand by that.
So
That
some
is
of
one my
them
favorite
some of them are
episodes.
pretty clever, but I kind of got a resistance to them after the first couple.
You just wouldn't trust anything I said.
No,
You
I
just
wouldn't.
Would not
No,
trust.
I
I
would.
got someone with a Ligma joke today. You guys want to hear it? You guys want to
Sure.
hear it? So I was emailing. I was not emailing. What was I doing? Snapchatting? I don't know. This Jaeger should not be hitting me this early.
I would hope that you can
Woo!
pace yourself here.
Yeah, I don't expect him to.
I texted this person. I was like, "Hey, I have big news, right? I got invited to join the Lawrence International Group meeting in Atlanta." And yeah, I know.
Yeah, I realized how way they went wrong there.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. I love Ligma. Ligma jokes are my favorite. I've never claimed to be a mature individual. I just, I have a weakness for Ligma. I truly, much like, I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but every superhero has their weakness, right? Like, Spider-Man is trilogies, or it used to be, because they'd always fuck up around the second and third. But they actually got a good trilogy out for Spider-Man, so I guess I rescind that. But
We're still waiting for Spider-Man 4 to come out.
Yeah, that's true. Superman has kryptonite. Batman has his dead parents.
Spider-Man has Spider-Man 4.
Spider-Man also has dead parents,
He doesn't really care about them. He doesn't really.
But it's true.
It is true, though.
I know, but that's not his weakness, right?
Neither is it Superman's.
No, I
And
said
then
Superman's
his
is kryptonite. Batman's is his dead parents.
Then his uncle dies in like most versions, and then sometimes his aunt also dies. So
sometimes his uncle becomes Spider-Man instead.
How could you say it's Batman's weakness when it propelled him into like his life's work?
He'll tell you that. He has a selection of the Justice League's weaknesses, and his weakness is if you use the lives of his family against him or bring up his dead parents.
Like
He says that.
the whole thing
That
about
is his
having dead
weakness.
parents though is that like they can't be your weakness because they're not around to like be used over you anymore. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
Well-
but like if you make fun of him for it, like, haha, your parents are dead, loser.
I don't know. I just don't feel like Batman would be that sensitive, but I guess I don't know him that well.
I mean, well, he and I go way back. Okay,
Oh yeah. We've
Yeah,
never
you
seen
and
Kale and Batman
Batman.
in the same place at the
I
same
was
time.
about to
Yeah.
mention that. I was about to mention
It is
that.
kind of weird.
I've never seen them on the same episode of this
That's true.
podcast.
That's well, okay. Shut up. Don't worry. We're working on it. Okay. I want to get Batman on the show. I feel like our movie commentaries were really good. Those were really fun, except for the one where Danny slept through fucking Die Hard. 'Cause
Okay.
there's
That was
something wrong with
great.
him.
I think that
That-
was actually a very funny like moment. I feel like you just you can't see the humor in it.
I think Kale's missing out on like how quintessential that was to our watch party. That really tied it all together.
I think we
It-
all have like a dynamic, and I think your dynamic is just the one who cares a lot, and my dynamic is the one who kind of doesn't care that much, and I feel like it works well together. You know?
Yeah, I felt
I-
like my enjoyment was fulfilled by knowing someone in the party was not enjoying the movie at all.
Well, it's not that I wasn't enjoying it; I just wasn't
But, like,
awake to enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. You had no capacity to start enjoying it because you just weren't watching the movie. I was like, perfect. We've got a perfect balance here. Something to
It-
circumvent like Kale's gouging over this and gushing over this movie.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
if it-
so good.
If it makes
right?
you feel better, Kale, and I know it won't, but if it makes you feel better, I've seen a lot of references to Die Hard in other media. Like I saw like the Family Guy one. I've been
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
Brooklyn
I know.
Nine-Nine, and they talk about Die Hard a lot in that show.
I know you've seen the Blue Harvest and something Dark Side, and so
You
you think
know-
that means that you've seen the fucking Star Wars movies. Yeah, I know.
I have
know.
seen the Star Wars movies. I might
Yeah.
as well have. You know, I
Yeah,
played
it-
Borderlands, the pre-sequel. There was that Star Wars reference in it. I feel like I might as well have watched the movie. You know,
In some ways, you've seen it many times over because what Family Guy will do is that they'll take a moment in the movie and then they'll like redo that moment like 5 or 6 times for a comedic effect. So it's like you watch the movie several times over.
I don't think that's true.
No, he's onto something here. He is, you know. And technically, I've watched Lord of the Rings because there was a Lord of the Rings Easter egg in the Borderlands game, even though I've
Maxwell,
never seen
the
the
fact
movie.
that you would betray Star Wars, your favorite franchise in the world,
I'm not
just to
betraying
get one
it.
over on me.
I'm trying to perfectly capture all types of fans of Star Wars.
But you're not a fan of Star Wars if that's the only time you've ever seen anything relating to it.
Actually, Kale, I don't want to bring this up, but I kind of did voice act as Luke in a
I made
performance of
you
Star
watch
Wars.
A New Hope first.
And Luke is kind of like the main character, you know. So I
That's
feel like,
true.
If anything,
I
I'm
might-
the Luke of this group, okay?
well,
I'm
I
the
was
Luke
Yeah,
of
the
those-
well, why
I
weren't
was
you
the Luke of the
Luke?
performance.
Because I was Princess Leia, and Princess Leia is better. And also I was Obi-Wan, so Obi-Wan's better.
How?
God,
Why were
if
you
we ever
two
do-
characters? That
If we
is
ever
so-
do, what is it? Empire Strikes Back. Who are we gonna get to do Yoda? That's the real question. Fuck any of this debate that we're having right now. Who's gonna
this
be
Yoda character?
Yeah, who is this Yoda guy?
He wasn't in the movie that I watched. Are you sure he's an actual character, not like one of those fan ones?
He's not like a system of planets or anything.
Oh, like they have like an acronym, like YODA. Like what does it stand
YODA. It's fun
No.
to stay at the YODA. I love how I just credited my friend as just simply John in the credits because he didn't have anything to he didn't have any socials he wanted to promote, so it's just John. Yes. When was this? This was when Obi-Wan Kenobi came out, right? So I guess that means it was About 2 years ago. Okay, so next year we have to do Empire Strikes Back because there's 3 years difference, right?
Oh, so we're using like the actual time frame of how these movies released
That
to.
and also there were 3 years in between the actual events of the films. But yes.
Okay,
So
now will it like if I do, get recasted, do I have to watch the movie? Because I haven't watched
Yes.
any movie except for A New Hope.
Yes.
But
Is that
take
like a
your time.
requirement?
Take your time.
You
know,
have
like
a year and a little bit less than a month.
If it makes you feel better, I did watch the Family Guy.
I hate you.
hey,
I
do you know what
despise you.
happens in the movie?
Yeah, that's the one where where they're on the bridge, right? And it goes, "Oh man, I'm your dad," right? That's that one, right?
Yup. And like
See, I got
It's
it.
not even a bridge.
It's like a catwalk or something. It's like some
yeah,
sort of.
exactly.
It's a
See,
catwalk that has
Danny
no
knows his
reason to
stuff.
exist. That's the funniest part.
And I don't remember a lot. I remember that Meg's the monster in that one too. I do
Meg's
remember
always the
that.
monster.
Yeah, that applies to Star Wars as well.
Indeed.
Meg's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Meg's in the movie. All right, the more you know. Mila Kuna is out here just getting
Mila.
Yeah.
It's Mila. Kunis.
Mila. You
Potato,
know,
potato.
potato.
Hakuna Matata.
What a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze.
No,
Are we
I
just
think
gonna
that
sing this? Are we just gonna sing this right now together?
Why?
Well, we-
Yesterday,
like
yesterday you were
Pumbaa.
yesterday
I'll be
you were
Timon.
screaming at us for trying to sing a song and saying that
yeah,
we
you
would get
muted us all for
copyrighted.
trying to
I
sing
did.
Smash Mouth.
I did because guess what? You guys
Like
don't
on a-
know what Smash Mouth is.
Like on
Your
a power
characters-
trip. He
your
muted
characters don't know
everyone,
what
even the
Smash Mouth
people
is.
who weren't singing. Why would people not know about Smash Mouth?
Because you don't exist in a timeline where that exists.
I beg to differ. I think, Smash Mouth can reach the world of Dungeons and Dragons if it really tried.
You don't live in that you don't live on the planet of Earth anyway. So, and also you don't live in that universe. Like that's not even the right universe.
Who says we're on a planet? What if the plane is flat?
I said you're on a planet.
I think that
I disagree
our
with the Dungeon
characters
Master.
just have like knowledge beyond the world that we live in.
No. That's
They're
that's called
granted-
metagaming. That's bad.
I feel like metagaming is only bad if you take advantage of it in like a wrong way. I feel like this is a fun way.
I feel like you took advantage of it in the wrong way.
I feel like this would be a very fun addition into our campaign to add pop culture references.
We don't own the rights
Yes.
to Smash Mouth. So
And then we can
can't-
say wink whenever it happens. Because no one can see us during
Like
those
all our
episodes.
characters had nosebleeds yesterday whenever there was a continuity
Yeah.
error.
Yeah,
It's not
what
a
is
continuity error.
what are you
Or just like,
referencing
the-
there? Do you think that's a part of the world of Dungeons and Dragons? Is that when
Yes.
someone sees a person, they can start bleeding out of their noses?
It's not about just that.
No, it seems to be just that.
No, it's
I-
it's about
I-
something else.
I don't see anything. Yeah. Oh, or do you want to elaborate? Is it a pop culture
No.
reference?
I'm not giving you. It's plot details. I'm not spoiling it for you, and I'm sure as shit not spoiling it for you on fucking this show.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I feel
Your
like
fans really gotta keep up with all the shows in order to understand what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's such a
How's the
deep
earthquake,
embedded
by the way?
lore. Too far away.
Yeah.
How was the earthquake? Is that what you just asked?
Yeah,
me?
there was an earthquake in New York this morning, and people were making jokes about how 4.8 is actually huge.
I didn't feel it, but
It was in
Uh.
Texas. It was not in Texas, you dummy. It was in New York.
well,
You said
I
it
thought
was.
you just asked me a question, and I just wanted to tell you I didn't.
I
Feel
didn't. I didn't ask you.
You said, "How was the earthquake?" and I tried to answer for you.
Mhm.
Don't speak for him, okay, Maxwell. Don't let him speak for you.
I'm not speaking for him. I'm speaking for myself. I thought the question was for both of us.
It's a
No, it
distinct
wasn't.
difference.
It wasn't, and it never will be.
You're being very rude right now, and I don't appreciate that.
I finished my Jaeger bomb. I'm moving on to tequila.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah, you
come to
know, like
regret this decision.
I remember whenever you came by, all you wanted
I
to
did.
do was just give me a drink, and I don't drink, man. I'm
He
sorry.
did. Oh my god. I think we talked about it
Let's
on the
go.
podcast.
S-
We went to this
Speaking,
like
you know, having control of your own consumption is essential because if you don't, it can lead to addiction. Ain't that right, Kale?
I wouldn't know. I can stop whenever I want.
You know, I
Yes,
feel like seeing it in
it's
person,
sure.
I can definitely say that he has
I drank more than everyone else on that night, and
he
it was pretty
has
impressive.
I wouldn't say a drinking problem, but he does like to drink. He likes to drink
It's not a
quite
drinking
quite a lot.
problem. It's a drinking solution.
Ah, that doesn't sound good either.
No,
Yeah,
the
but we
problems are
all
what make me drink. Drinking is the solution.
like our little group. They drink a little bit more casually. You know, Kale, I feel like was having a competition with himself
Enough
to see.
Yeah,
casual
Kale
drinking. We go
drinks
competitive.
aggressively.
Yeah,
Damn right.
yeah, he's over here like trying to compete, but I don't really know if anybody else was competing with him.
We
I was like,
did. There literally was a chugging contest. On
get out of
you
here.
know,
My cousin kind of did humor you a little bit. I did see that.
it was Ireland versus Mexico, and we tied. So because it was the day
Tied?
before St. Patty's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Kale's
so we
the
had to.
Kale's the type of person to have to be the drunkest person in the room, and nobody else is drinking.
Well,
No,
they were
everyone was.
drinking.
He was the only one. Him and his brother were the only ones not drinking because. Oh no, because No, it was you two. Everyone else sobered up later. The other drivers sobered up later.
Well, no, I was the other driver.
No, you didn't drive on the way there.
On the way to the bar, I didn't drive, but on the way home, I drove
Oh,
because
you
Oh
see,
yeah, because I
Kale
sat
might have
with,
forgotten that essential
No, I drove
detail.
with his brother and his girlfriend. I
oh
drove
yeah,
with
you
with
were in
Dylan.
the other car.
Yeah. They
Yeah, but
offered to buy me McDonald's, and I said, "Fuck you, Uno reverse," and I offered to buy them McDonald's, but they wouldn't let me.
So no one
yeah,
got McDonald's.
No, they got McDonald's. I didn't pay for it.
I see.
yeah, but Dylan and I usually are the ones that don't drink. My brother drinks more than I do, but
He does.
not often. He usually drinks whenever we're at the house.
He was
But
having
when-
a couple of Dos Equis at the house while we were shooting.
Yeah, but he doesn't like to drink out that often because usually he's the one that has to drive.
Yeah.
Well, that's the catchphrase of Dos Equis.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
No, it's like I don't often drink, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis.
Yeah, and then also stay thirsty, my friends.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we went to this like Mexican version of Hooters, right? It's called, what is it? Ojos Locos. Yep. Danny,
Pretty catchy.
they were. I would say it's not even a Mexican version of Hooters because Hooters, like Ojos Locos makes Hooters look like all the waitresses are fucking like Amish, right? Fucking Mennonites, right? Like Ojos Locos, they're basically in their underwear.
No, it's actually crazy because that night they were in their regular uniforms, but if you would have gone to the one that we went to a couple of days before, they were like actually in their underwear.
I saw that. I was like, God damn, we missed it by a few days. Shit.
like
Son of a
because
bitch.
they
That's
had like some really small outfits the day that we went,
Mhm.
but the other day, like I'm telling you, I don't know what event was going on or what was happening, but I
It's
was
probably
like,
March Madness.
it might have been March Madness,
Hmm.
but they were all just wearing like black lace underwear, and I'm just like, what did I walk into? I don't even.
Yeah, you just came here for the food.
Dude, he had tunnel vision.
You're not even there for the
Complete-
drinks.
Complete fucking tunnel vision. He did not look at the titties whatsoever, man.
What do you mean? What do you mean tunnel vision? That's control.
Like, he was looking straight at the fucking eyes, right? Like, he did not look down once. I saw, right? Like,
What's wrong with
Man.
your
Yeah,
eyes?
what did you see, Kale?
I saw him not looking at the titties, and it's like, you know, none of them were, you know, Kate Upton, right? But they were working with what they had, you know. They were putting on a show for him, and he just did not play ball with them, you know.
I don't know. I kind of like looking at people's faces. You
Like,
know?
if they're gonna pitch
That's just-
to you,
that's
you
just
should
my
at least
thing.
swing at it at least once,
Yo.
you know.
Shout out to Faces.
That's what I'm saying. Shout out to eyes and faces. You know,
Yeah.
they don't get enough attention nowadays.
No, they
You should
don't.
create a book 4 faces. And you could call it Facebook.
Whoa. I think that we may be infringing on somebody else's
No, it's
property
called
there.
Meta now. It's called Meta now. So you have to call it Facebook.
Isn't it Meta the Facebook company?
No, it's the Meta company.
So is it Facebook the Meta company? Because Facebook is still a part of Meta, isn't it?
Nobody
Yeah,
uses
it's like-
Facebook anymore. Nobody would
It's
notice.
like owned by Meta.
Yeah,
I
they,
get
they,
owned.
they definitely own. They have definitely still own Facebook. I don't think that we can just take that.
I mean, it's just Facebook with a different name saying that they own Facebook.
What if we
kind of
make
like
face
uh,
comma book? Is that
face.
taken?
book.
Yeah, maybe that's not taken because they
Maybe the
didn't.
Book of Faces.
How about the Facebook?
The
Hey,
Facebook.
isn't that what boomers call it anyway? Oh no, it wouldn't be boomers because boomers like actually use it. No, wouldn't that be what like the silent generation would have called it? Except they're all dead now. Rest in peace, Grandma.
The silent generation.
That's what they're
Damn.
called.
That rest in peace, grandma, just really hits.
Yeah, she's dead, man.
Hey, man, I understand what rest in peace means.
Yes. He's really.
Maybe more than most.
Yeah, we're not getting into it, Kale. Okay.
I'm not trying to get into it. I just said maybe more than most. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
Okay.
What else do you have to share, Kale? Do you have anything else you want to share?
This tequila tastes really good.
I was gonna say, did you end up posting any pictures of you and me? Because I got the ones that when we went to that like little Hawaiian place.
I think we posted.
I know you did one on your story. I think, right?
That was it. I never post anything, dude. You don't under my last
Yeah, me neither.
Instagram post was on Christmas. It was Rosemary Clooney died in 2002, and I was born in 2002, and it was Welcome Back, Rosemary Clooney, and that was it. And then before that was like 2 months before.
I could post like a little picture in one of the Discords. Which Discord should I put it in though?
I don't know.
You'll
Should
put
I
it-
just put it in like the little group chat that you made for us three, or you want me to put it in like the?
I posted one where I graduated from college, and then after that, I posted one for the 4th of July, and then after that was 3rd of September. After that was the day after my birthday. After that was October 26th, and then it was Christmas, and that was it. Men just don't post on their Instagram.
Well, if you look at my Instagram, excluding my most recent post, it's just my birthday for like the last 4 years. It's like birthday post, birthday post, birthday post.
There was one time when you had a
Nice.
very cringe caption. Let me find the cringe caption.
let's find yours, Kale.
Which one? Which one?
Where
I'm
do we
dreaming of a
start?
white Christmas? That's a good caption.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Michael Wave. Michael Wave is a pretty solid post from me. What is it? What's his name? Trey, aka Danny Boy. Man,
That's
you gotta
me.
change that fucking. You gotta change it.
You don't like Trey, aka Danny Boy?
No, I don't. Oh, you got rid of the McDonald's one, you asshole! You
I got rid of-
asshole!
I archived a couple posts.
You asshole! I love making fun of that one. You son of a bitch! You got rid of my ammunition. I've got like.
I tried to send 4 photos, but it only looks like it sent 2.
Woo! I'm drinking a lot of tequila. Will I get blackout drunk before the end of this show? Who knows?
But that is the burning question.
It is us. Oh yeah, that's us at the Hawaiian Bros. It was awesome.
Yeah, I sent it to the little group chat. That way you could see two Max.
She never sent it to me, and also she never
Thank
sent
you.
me. She never gave me my fucking water bottle from Hawaiian Bros. So I only have the koozie and the key thing, which I put on my keys. But yeah, fuck you, Jennifer. Send me my fucking water bottle. You
Whoa.
asshole.
You're just calling her out.
Whoa.
You're damn right. You're damn right. I would have her on this show too, but that's a little too much to do. This was sort of last minute. I was just like, I had the idea as I was like walking around because Maxwell told me he had just gotten home. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll ask Dan to be on here because it's the 100th episode. He should probably be in it because he was in it for like 46 episodes. That's a lot. So it's
That's
you know
That's like almost half.
Almost half. And so if we include the bonus one, then it's 47 episodes, and if we include this one, then it's 48.
Wow, they
That's hitting.
just keep counting.
That's hitting. Oh my god.
The numbers just keep rising, and
That's not what I'm talking about. I just got a real wave of tequila. That's awesome. I'm feeling great right now.
Yeah, but having Kale over was nice. You know, we didn't get to hang out too much because he kind of came over during like a real chaotic time.
I did.
For
And
It's-
real.
also Jennifer was very busy. I don't know why Jennifer was so fucking busy.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know why I.
Like she wasn't even doing anything. Fucking yeah. But
I don't get it either.
so
man.
I was just in my hotel room for a lot of it. I had a quiz to do. It was fine. Don't worry about it. I had
It's-
a quiz to do.
Being
It's one of those things where I don't want to get into it too much here, but it was very hard to keep any schedules up. I didn't have my car, so I couldn't really do much there. I
Yeah.
actually just now recently today was able to get my appointment at the tax office to get my title transferred.
oh my.
Nice.
So in a couple weeks I'll get my new title on the car that I'm going to be using here. But
You
yeah,
know
the
what?
old car is in the process of getting rid of that one right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I wouldn't want it either.
Yeah, again, not trying to get into too many
Yeah,
details. But
It's just yeah.
Yep.
No.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
Well,
no.
I'm not sure
They
if you
help.
know anything.
Big ups,
Max,
big
but
ups to the new car. Big ups to the
Exactly.
new car.
Big ups.
it's yeah, it's not really a new car, but I'm putting it in my name.
Guys, do I
Oh,
finish the rest
well.
of this tequila?
It's new to your name.
It is well, it actually used to be in my name, and then it wasn't in my name because I gave it away, and now it's gonna be back in my name again.
Wow.
Guys, I'm pouring the rest of this tequila. I feel like
You know,
I'm gonna regret this later, but I'm
you
gonna
got-
do it.
You gotta like soothsay your car. Be like, I'm so sorry I ever left you. You know, do you?
Well,
know,
the thing is, it's the same car that I got back in like 2020, beginning of 2022, right?
Is that the shitty one that we talked about?
It was real crappy, and then I gave it to my mom, and my mom she
She hated it too.
ended up getting it like a little bit more fixed, and it was her car for a while, and now it is my car again.
Mhm.
Hey, you know
The circle of life.
Circle of life.
that's. I mean, you know what? That's a good way to describe it. That's a good way to describe it. I like that.
Yeah, but earlier today I went to the office. Did all the paperwork for the title transfer, so that's coming. I went to like the little car wash, and I got the vacuum, and I was kind of cleaning out the car.
Fair
Got it
enough.
all nice and washed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you; it's not like a super nice car, but you know, it looks a tiny bit shinier now, I guess.
What do you
That's
say
good.
it was?
When
What'd
you
say
take
it
care
was?
of it, then it's gonna look better.
Yeah, that's my plan. My plan is I really don't care about the outside though. I just needed it to run on the inside.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, honestly, low key.
Because if it's scratched up and it has like a tiny like cosmetic dent like that, those things like we can get past, but like
Yeah,
if
we
the
don't
engine
usually.
doesn't run, then it's a
You
little
know,
bit
do
more
you
of
know
a
how
problem.
little we see those when we're driving? Like
Yeah.
never,
Never.
because we're
Exactly.
always on the inside of the car.
Well, I meant like the inside, like under the hood, but yes, yeah, you're also right. Like where I'm sitting, also, I want that to look nice as well.
Yeah.
Guys, just in case I get
But,
like completely blackout drunk from this, I just want to say I love you guys.
I think he's already blackout drunk.
I'm not blackout drunk. This is not blackout level. Okay, I've never been blackout level.
But
I
when
got-
people start saying this stuff, you get suspicious, you know?
No, I just wanna say while I'm still relatively sober that I love you guys out there in the audience. Thank you for getting us to 100 fucking episodes. My goodness, it's incredible that we're still here doing this. We're at 3,306 downloads, right? In March, I think we had our most successful month ever. 332 downloads. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. And
crazy.
like we're having like one of
Crazy.
the best like, this is we're popping off. We're popping off. We have downloads in Japan now. Like, I didn't even know Japan was a real place. I thought it was just a fictional place that the weebs made up, but no, it's actually a real place.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and
Kale breaking the ice here.
Actually, there's no ice in my margarita.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just
in your
drinking the
brain,
mix straight up.
maybe in your
You know-
brain, unlocking that like hidden seed of knowledge.
This begs the question though, Nick. Like, now that we're at 100, what's the plan going forward? We just gonna keep the same formula? You gonna kind of try something
You're gonna
different?
spruce it up.
I think
What-
I'm taking
looking
Max
back.
to Alaska in the summer.
I was talking to you about this, I think in the really, really, really early days of the podcast. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, but about doing like video podcast at one point.
I need to
you
get
know
a
what I
Yeah,
mean?
web-
that
webcam
sounds
for that.
that sounds really engaging.
I
I
feel
need
like
to-
it'd be a little bit better if we were in person. Kind of be hard to do with us all in
Yeah.
different cities, but
Yeah,
It's
like-
like how like
Kale, you could see my eyes roll every time you say something like ridiculous coming
now
out of
that
your
would be pretty
mouth.
cool. I'm not gonna
Right?
lie.
well, it's
you
like
would,
how
you
like
would tune in for
Ludwig
that.
does the yard, and like he gets like guests from all over the country because they make a lot of money, so they can afford it. I think if you used our collective podcast budget for the past like 2 years that we've been running, we could maybe afford one plane ticket on Spirit Airlines.
Well,
Right? Like,
I'm
we're
not saying
fucked.
I'm not saying like it's gonna be like a regular like every week thing, right? But I'm thinking if we all happen to, like
Have a
be in the same
camera.
place with each other, right? We could do something, right? Obviously, whenever you came over, it wasn't really a great time for that sort of thing, but hopefully next time we all hang out, either if I go over there or if he comes to you or if you come over here or however we do it, right?
You guys are down to share a bed, right?
Well,
Are you asking for yourself?
You two are
You
down
want
to
to share a bed with
with
someone?
No, you
Like-
guys are sharing a bed with each other.
I just don't see why we would need to though. Like, cause
Because I don't want to blow up the air mattress, and I don't
Well,
want to
I'm-
buy another
Oh,
mattress.
you don't want to use what you have
No.
at home for guests, for
to be,
us?
to be
I mean, I have a
100%
mattress downstairs. I have a guest mattress downstairs, and it's
To-
queen size.
To be 100% honest with you, though, right? I feel like if the floor is like just not dirty, I'd be down to just sleep on the floor.
I mean,
Or I could bring my own bedding
It's
if
not
you won't
like
provide it.
It'll be like whenever I was at the fireworks stand. I'll just get one of those egg carton mattresses, like the super tiny thin ones.
no. I'll bring like you'll have bedding. It's just I don't want to buy. So I have 2 guest bedrooms, right? One of them fully furnished, has a bed, has bedding. Yeah, the whole works. The other one doesn't really have anything in it yet. It has like boxes in it from like my move and shit, like because I just don't have anywhere to put the shit, so it's just still in boxes. But it doesn't have a mattress yet, and it doesn't have like a bed frame yet. So I just don't want to do that, and I don't want to blow up the air mattress. So yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are down to share a bed with each other, right?
So I don't want to come anymore.
Maxwell, you're just gonna have to keep edging then. I'm sorry.
I just don't want to do that.
You're
Kinda
just
the
gonna
same
have
way
to keep
you don't
edging
wanna-
then, buddy.
You don't want to do anything with your own room.
Look,
I mean, it's
think it's a
bed
great
frames are
idea.
expensive.
It's a nice idea, right? I just don't think realistically I can plan any sort of trip unless it's like to like an adjacent city because I can't afford plane tickets
Yeah, I feel
yeah,
like
for my
getting
big plan here.
getting a camera seems like a more practical thing than
Yeah, but then I'd have to
buying
like
a plane
buy a
ticket.
webcam.
You could just do a camera for like your regular content, and then we could maybe do like a Discord thing maybe.
No, I'd
where we
buy it
all
off the
talk on
podcast
Discord.
budget.
Yo, Danny
I'd buy
breaking
it off the
new ground.
podcast budget.
Well, I'm not saying you can use the podcast budget if you want, and we can use it for the podcast. But I'm saying you could also just use it for your regular content too.
I could also just do it on my laptop, which does have a webcam, but I'm lazy.
Yeah, you being lazy, I notice is a big roadblock for me too.
And also my laptop fucking sucks. It's so bad, dude.
You
It's
know,
so old.
because I'll sit here, right, and I'll be playing games, and I'll be like, man, I could probably be streaming this, and then at the same time, I'm like, but I don't really feel like it, you know. And that's kind of
Dude,
where I've been for the last couple of years.
Yo,
dude,
true.
I've talked about it before and I'll talk about it again. When you commodify your hobbies, you start to be like, damn, I should have been streaming this. I should have been recording this. It's like when you're an OnlyFans model and you jack off, right? And you're like, damn, I could have recorded that and posted it, you know?
I
And
think
it's like,
it's okay
eventually,
to do stuff in private though too. I'm not saying like you got to play every single game on the stream, but if you want to play most of the games on the stream, that's fine. I think you make it sound like you know like uh like if your hobby is like streaming, that you have to stream like every game that you ever play, right? I think that there's like kind of a line where you can stream most of the games and maybe you have like your own personal game, right?
I
I
feel
think
bad when
that's
I don't
valid.
stream. I feel bad when I don't stream, honestly.
The thing is, it depends on how much you're really trying to like game like the algorithm, right? Because if you are somebody who really just wants to ride trends and you want to grow fast, like your options for like the type of games that you play and the options for like the type of content you make is a lot more limited. And if you don't care about that, you can still, get popular and you can still grow. It's just going to be a little bit harder because you're not really following the easy way.
Hmm. This is getting a little intellectual for me.
Well,
I
I
don't.
think it's worth considering because we're at 100 episodes and like
Like,
this is our content.
But
exactly, right?
I'm
Like,
taking your ass to Alaska this summer, aren't I?
Yeah,
We're
but
recording that.
before doing that, we've done all of this, and it's like, well, what do we think of what we've done here?
I think we've done a pretty good show, and I think the uh the 3,306 downloads would attest to that.
but it's kind of like one of those things where I like the type of content that we do. I
Mhm.
like, what we're putting out, right? But if you're looking at it from like a business perspective or like a success perspective, right? There's always things we could be doing differently or things we could
That's
be doing
true.
more of.
That's true.
And I don't know if you care about that or if you just kind of want to keep doing what we've been doing. Because I'm fine with how things are. But whenever it comes to like, I guess, like the success side of it or like the growing side of it, I don't care about that personally, but if you do, maybe it's something that you can look into.
The problem is we need money for that. That's the issue.
Uh,
For a top the table, right? We could do it all in costume, right? We could do it
well,
all in costume.
it's
But
not
you
just
guys are gonna
about
have to buy that.
it's not just about like money. Sometimes it's like it's just a matter of like effort and time. Because
Yeah,
there's a
but
lot of things you could do with very little money that would just take a little bit more time, right?
you got to get an
Like,
ROI on that. You got to get a return on investment.
yeah, like
You got to
earlier
do
on,
like
it's going to be a lot more effort than what it's worth. But the whole point is it's kind of like an investment. Is that if you keep doing it, it'll eventually pay off.
yeah. I mean,
But
I guess I don't know.
it's kind of like how I was telling you before with like your YouTube, right? Like if you edit it, it'll be a lot more easy for other people to like watch it, and more people will probably go watch it, right? But then you have to edit it, right? So it's like, you don't have to edit it if you don't want to, but if you do edit it, it might be better in the long run for like
I'm working on
viewership
that.
and stuff, right?
I've got a
Yeah.
thing that I'm working on there.
So like you see what I'm trying to say? So it's not all about money. Sometimes it's just about time and effort.
Yeah, it's like, whatever project you work on and you put out, you want it to be well received, right?
It
So,
depends on why you're doing it, I guess. Because
yeah, that's true. If
for
you
me, this is just like an outlet, so I don't really care if it's like super successful. But maybe you do kill because you're the one that's kind of on the more business side of things, right?
I am, yes.
Or like whenever you do YouTube, you play the games you want because that makes you happy, right? But maybe you want to also grow and you want to be more successful. So maybe
I
you
know.
look at those sort of things, right? So
I
it's
bought
a balance.
Helldivers just for that. I did.
See, there you go. You can ride the trends.
I haven't played it yet.
yeah,
I would say that like the type of games that you play and the type of games that I play, for the most part, are pretty niche. But you and I are in completely different niches, though.
I don't think Arkham Knight is that niche.
I would say
For
I would say
2024, it probably is.
I would say
The most
playing old
niche
games
game.
is a little niche, because the trends are always what's new and what's hot, and usually it's like the big AAA games, right? Like if you're playing like a random indie game that has like no audience, even if it's brand new, it's still gonna be niche, right? Like
I've never played one of those. I've never played like a niche indie game. All right, I only.
Or if you play like if you play like an old like niche game, might not have that much viewership.
I would
That's
say
why
the most niche game I've ever played was probably. I would say the most niche game I've ever played was Super Mega Baseball 3. I feel like that's the most niche game I've ever played. But
there's also
I feel
just
like
some games that are better for like viewership.
I feel like I
and-
started it at a good time though, right? Because think about it, right? When I started it was 4 months ago. This was like December 5th, right? Like late December, early November, or early December, late November, right? Like that's a while ago, right? And this was right in the middle of baseball off season, right? Nobody's playing baseball now. Not even spring training, right? Spring training started a couple months ago, right? And the season just started. So it's like I feel like I picked a good time to start doing that, right? Because it was right when I missed baseball the most. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again. Baseball is my sport, right? Like a lot of people like football, some people like hockey, some people like basketball. Yeah. By the way, how's y'all's March Madness brackets? How are you guys doing?
That's actually wild. I was watching a video like yesterday, and it was this guy talking. It was like this little Twitch streamer talking to his chat. He's like, "Please stop asking me about my March Madness picks. I don't have any opinion on them." And that's kind of how I feel right now. It's like you're asking me.
Yo, I feel like that too.
I don't have any like thing to tell you. You know what I
Guys,
mean?
I have a really good March Madness bracket. I actually my
Yo, that's why the chat isn't.
Is March
streaming.
Madness is that baseball or what is March Madness?
So March Madness is college basketball, NCAA
it's
basketball,
okay,
men's basketball. Hang on, I gotta log in my Face ID.
You see, I'm not big on sports. I don't know about you, Max.
I'm not. I'm more of a fan of esports than like other physical sports.
I'm just like waving my head back and forth right now.
My whole thing is I like being like a part of a
wasted.
group, right? So if the group is like wanting to watch a sports thing, I will, like if it's like a group thing. But I would never by myself just go out of my way to watch sports. I'm not that interested.
So far, there's been 63 total picks, right? 63 total picks, and I have gotten 42 of them correct. So that's pretty good. I missed 21, but that's like I'm like 2/3 correct, right? Like that's pretty damn good. And I was right about UConn beating. So my final four was or I guess my final 8 was Connecticut v UIUC.
This is getting real nerdy. I'm not gonna lie.
I had North Carolina and Arizona for the West Conference. I had
Houston we should talk about. Why don't we talk about like our least favorite memories of the podcast? This was one of mine. We had a whole episode where Kale would talk about baseball, and I was so lost because I don't know anything about baseball. It's
hitting a ball with a stick. It's hitting a ball with a stick.
Yeah, and it's like 70 teams or something.
What I really disliked from the podcast, and I don't know if you can relate to this, Maxwell, right? It's one of those things where I feel like Kale will rant and talk about whatever he wants, but he'll cut me off if I start talking about something that he doesn't like.
Yep. I don't like that. I don't like that.
That frustrated me so much. It's like he'll talk about the most nonsense thing that I could care less about, And then as soon as I try to do that about something that I'm interested in, he's like, "Well, let's change the subject." And I'm like, "What the
Well,
hell?"
Yeah,
you keep
I
trying to talk about
I try to
Overwatch.
I try to get back at Kale for that by bringing up things that he doesn't want to talk about on the podcast.
Like what?
Like
Like
last
what?
episode. Like last
Oh, fuck
episode.
you. Fuck you.
Danny, are you
What?
familiar with this nickname Kale's had ever since his early childhood?
It's not
No,
that
but I would
long.
love to
Okay.
know.
Well,
Okay.
he was he was named Skunk Nugget by his
Skunk
mother.
Nugget.
Yes, what an adorable nickname. And so I made it a point to have a discussion about it on last week's episode, much to Kale's chagrin.
What about the time where I filmed the podcast naked, Danny?
Uh, I feel like that was more just for you, though. I feel like nobody else really got the joke. Because
I don't know if it's a
it's
joke.
it's not
I
a
feel like it's
visual
just-
No one,
podcast. so-
no one else is in on that.
I have filmed at least 30 minutes of this show completely naked. I feel like I filmed at least one half of an episode completely nude.
I'm sure you have, but
Dick
like that
out.
doesn't really add anything to the
Ass
podcast,
out.
though.
I feel like
Yeah.
it does. I feel like it changes the energy. I feel like if you really went through and like actually looked at it, you would know. You would
I
know
feel
which
like-
episodes I filmed.
I feel like doing that is the equivalent of like not having any recording, like video recording of the podcast. It kind of just like it just hits on the same level and it doesn't go any higher than that.
I feel like
It kind
if
of
we
reminds
recorded
me.
this show with video, we would have to do at least one naked episode.
It kind of reminds me of like when like they have like the Zoom meetings, like the business Zoom meetings, and everybody else is in suits, and you're wearing like shorts underneath, and they can't tell. It's like
Yeah.
nobody gets it except for you.
Exactly.
I
And I-
feel like it changes the energy. I feel
And I
like it
feel like-
changes the energy.
I feel like I look through the camera, I see you in a suit, I see Max in a suit. I don't think, oh man, they have shorts underneath, but to you, you're like, ah, haha, they don't know, or haha,
Except
yeah.
I would do
so-
it with no pants and no
I'm so
underwear.
foolish.
Dick out.
Yeah, Exactly, like
completely out.
the
But
point.
yeah, but
The point
we
is the
would
same
not
though.
know.
It's
Yeah.
like it's just for you. No,
It's-
I feel like we don't
it's-
get to.
It's that other people's experiences are not impacted by that.
I feel like it does. I
Like
feel like
even
it
you
does
telling
change
us,
it.
it doesn't really to change it for us.
Yeah,
Sure,
it does
alright,
not. It doesn't
One
really.
of you,
doesn't really
both
sway
of
us.
you, we're gonna. All right. We have to go to the ad break. How about this? Right, you guys will you guys will like Discord message each other. One of you is gonna take all your clothes off and record the rest of this podcast naked,
I
and
don't.
I'm
I
gonna
don't-
have to
I don't
guess
think-
which one of you did it.
All right, take your guess.
No, you have to do it. You have to do it like after, and after the big red button, I'll guess.
Well, you could guess right now.
I'm not gonna guess right now. I'm
You
not
could
gonna
guess right now. I
You
think
could
I'm
guess.
wasted
I
right
think
now.
I think you could get an answer right now if you made a guess.
I'm wasted right now.
We wouldn't have
okay?
to exchange any words for you to get to for-
I don't think
for a
either one
new
of you
answer
would
to
strip
come
because
out.
you're both fucking squares.
You
okay?
win, Kale. Congratulations.
You are both squares. and
I don't know. I think that I'm like a rhombus at least. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
I have
fully
some- I have some-
clothed.
I have some fancy angles.
I like that.
Danny, you didn't
I like
even
those
drink
fancy angles.
Danny has not drank a single drop of alcohol in his 23 years of living on this planet. Okay.
No, I haven't.
So
And is that
if
a
anyone is a
problem?
square here, it's you. Because Max
I don't
gets
think that
high.
makes me a square. I think that
and
actually
I'm an
makes
alcoholic.
me like more interesting as a person, right? Because everybody else is drinking and I'm not, right?
I think-
feel
I
like
I think you should live in the state of in whatever state you want to for your whole life, and you have your whole life to make those choices.
As long as I get to live in the state where I get to call you boring. Because you're boring.
I don't think I'm boring. I think that maybe we just have a different idea of fun.
Me
Well said.
and your cousin and your sister and everybody else who did drink were having a great fucking time.
I was
And
having a good time
I'm
too,
sure
but I'm not gonna
Danny
lie,
was
it was a
too.
little loud. I'm not a big fan of loud.
Yeah, I hate loud bars. I was talking to my girlfriend about this. I said, I fucking hate loud bars, right?
How loudly did you say it?
I think we were in bed last night. Either we were in bed last night or we were downstairs on my couch. Or no. I know this. We were at B-Dubs. So we had just seen a show, and it was like fully improv, by the way. And that's ooh. Don't let theater majors do an improv show. Just don't. It's
I feel
It-
like
Who
was
else
it
would you
like
get to do it?
awkward? Like was it cringy?
parts of it were, and parts of it were just sort of like, they were treading their wheels a little bit and just sort of like,
Like
You
boring
know,
kind of.
yeah.
Hmm.
My girlfriend thought it was funny. She saw it twice. I saw it once.
Good for
But
her. It
If
seems
it's
like
if
she
it's
has a different.
improv, wouldn't it be different each time?
It is. She said it was a little bit different, and
So
yeah.
she has a different impression of fun than you. Can you
I just
accept
didn't
that?
think it was that funny. I can't accept it. I said I hope you have fun. I hope you like it more than I do.
Then I hope you can accept Danny's willingness to not drink. In the same way that your girlfriend chooses to watch an improv show you don't like a second time.
I don't know. Maybe it would have been better that second time. I don't know, because I think it was their first performance.
Yeah,
last
maybe
night.
it's
Wednesday
more
night.
fun not drinking.
Maxwell, I think you and I both know that that's not true.
I don't know. Sometimes the experience after drinking can be worse than if I didn't drink at all.
I've never been hungover and I've never thrown up from drinking. So you're doing it wrong. Because I'm wasted as shit right now. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice. I feel like I'm speaking fairly well. I'm not really slurring my speech all that much. But holy shit, I am plowed. I am absolutely plastered right now. It's great.
Yeah, you keep shaking your head back and forth there.
I'm drinking. I quit doing that. Okay, I'm good now. Actually, wait, holy shit, this is actually really nice. It's really nice, guys. Try it with me. Come on.
I think we should go to the ad break.
No, not yet. I wanted to, but I changed my mind. I've changed my mind. I feel like we can stay in this moment a little bit longer. We can partake a little bit longer. So just everybody just start shaking your head back and forth like a hula dancer, like one of them hula things that you put on your dashboard. Just shake your head back and forth a little bit like that. Isn't it
To
nice?
all our listeners.
Everybody do it. Just try it with me, okay? Just try it with me. Oh yeah. I'm loose. I'm limber. I'm flexible. I could probably do the splits right now.
Oh wait, you know what? That's another thing that I did notice about Kale. I didn't realize this. Is that Kale has like a hunchback almost.
I
Like
do.
he
yeah.
I have
slouches
very
like
bad. Why do you
he
think I have the
slouches
posture check
so
goal?
he
on my fucking
slouches
screen?
so badly.
Hmm.
You know, because my back naturally arches backwards and his naturally just arches forwards.
I do all of my work at.
So he looks like a little gremlin when he's walking around. You know what I mean? Like a little troll.
Whoa.
You know what I mean, right?
Whoa.
Here, just for that, I fixed my posture. I'm arched back right now. There you go. Okay, this chair doesn't help. This chair sucks.
Now
Let
he's
me
a,
need
tell
a new
you,
chair.
now he's
Kale,
a gremlin
right?
sitting straight.
I never recline my chair. My chair is always at a 90-degree angle, and I have my back
There's
to
no
it.
lumbar support. There's no lumbar support here. Like the pillow that should be for lumbar support always like goes down to like my ass, right? So it's like, and it won't sit there, and there's no means to like tighten it to make it sit where it's supposed to go, right? So I just have no lumbar support at all. It's
Just
terrible.
don't lean over your computer that much, man. Just lean back a little bit, kind of get that back in realignment.
You get
I
that
have
stretch.
$419 on Venmo, so I could probably transfer that over to my bank account, and I could just buy a better chair.
Or
Because-
That
or a camera.
Or no,
Or
I'm doing that with the
camera,
podcast money. Fuck you. I'm doing that with the podcast money. Fuck you guys.
I definitely think that your posture is something that you need to work on though, because
Why do you think I have the posture check fucking stream reward?
don't make it our
Don't make it
responsibility to
our
remind
job
you.
to fix your posture.
It is
It
your
should be
job.
your job to
It
do
is your
that.
job.
Is this why you stream, Kale? It's because you need help with your posture.
No.
And
It was
I
never
need
for
that
the money
extra
or the
help.
fame. It was just for the posture check.
Yeah.
It's not for the team or the posture check. It's for the fucking ad revenue. I'm milking you guys. I've got your fucking dicks in the milking machine, and I'm just fucking squeezing them.
And
Squeeze
I'm
not
all the
gonna
milk
lie
I
to
can
you,
get
he's
out of
he's
it.
like-
haunched while he does it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Head
Now that-
forward, back rolled over. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Kale. I don't think I'm gonna be getting any more Prime. So no more free subs for anybody.
You
Yo.
haven't given me your free sub in months.
Yeah, I forget sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm gonna let me actually pull up this thing. Let me see the last time I got a sub because it's from my girlfriend and it's been that way for months. Because I can tell.
Yo, can we give a pre shout out to our patrons, or can we not do that?
We can. Thank you, Justin, Connor, Justin, for the Patreon subscription. We really appreciate it.
Let's go.
Hopefully, you've
Is
been
there-
taking advantage of that new thing where you get the you get to listen to that first part of the episode ad free and early. Well, I mean it's always ad free because it's before the ad break, but you know what I mean. Shut up! Shut
You're
up!
you're tricking them into thinking they have more benefits.
I'm
than they do.
drunk. Okay, I'm drunk. What's your excuse? Okay, so in between games 20 and 21, I got a sub from my girlfriend, and that has been the most recent sub. And game 20 was over a month ago. Let's open this up actually. Let's open this up. It was in game 20 I got a sub because it was during one of my baseball streams. This premiered on February 6th, 2024, which means it happened about February 3rd. So I haven't gotten a sub since February fucking 3rd. So don't bullshit about, I'm not getting Prime sub anymore, so I'm not going to give any subs. I've
Well,
had to
I'm
go
just
2 months
saying-
without it. So bullshit.
Wait. Can I see how long, like, how many subscriptions I've given you in the past? Is there a way to check?
17.
17.
17 for
is there, like-
yourself. I don't know how many gifted you've done.
I've done a couple gifted. I remember I gifted like 6 or like 5, like on your birthday that one time.
You did do that one time, yeah.
But is there like a leaderboard? Or what, like, am I top?
You should be top.
You absolutely, yeah. No one. I don't think anyone's been subbed for as long as you have.
See, okay, so even though I'm taking lots of breaks in between, I'm still
Dude,
I'm still up there. Still number 1.
Yeah, you don't have to like fight back for that leaderboard. You've got
Yeah, exactly, right? Like I
I
feel like
don't
I
know.
could just sit here and I won't have to defend my spot for a minute. So
I don't know. My girlfriend's about to. She's gonna
You could,
work
like,
all
retire.
summer.
can
She's
you
gonna
tell
work-
me like what her number is at though? That way I can know.
Yeah.
So,
Let us
I
know
don't
when
wanna
it
talk about
encroaches on like
I don't wanna talk
15,
about it.
maybe.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, I mean like her how many months she's been
I
subscribed.
know.
what
I
number
don't
you're
want to
talking
talk about it.
What do you
I
mean
don't
you don't
wanna
want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about it.
I want to know though. I feel like I should just say
I don't.
the competition is steep. I wanna know.
The
wanna-
competition is stiff, but I get a hard dick from the shit and I stick it in. I ain't never given in a gay question, so the one complete freedom. Look at these rappers. I treat them so what the fuck when I join them. When I beat them, they call me a freak because I like to spit on these pussies before I eat them and get these whack cocksuckers off stage. Where the fuck is Kanye when you need him?
And there's our copyright strike.
See,
Yes,
he does it
Mike,
to
from a
himself.
bitch, I'm gonna let you finish in a minute. Yeah, the rap is tight when I'm about to spit Grace first of all time, so you might want to go back to the lab tonight and scroll out those raps we're gonna spit and start off from scratch right once, but I'm afraid it ain't gonna make no difference when we're at the stage and tearing in half tonight. Oh my god, I can keep going. You guys want me to keep going? I'll do it. I ain't scared. That's a threat, by the way. That is a threat. I will do it.
Yeah, what
I
do you
am-
think, Danny?
all of my oh, I forgot to add that in.
Oh, I
Oops.
didn't realize that you had a Twitch here, Max. The more you know.
Yeah, he's been on my Twitch multiple times.
Well, he doesn't have it to where his videos get uploaded though, so he
That's
doesn't-
Yeah,
right.
Maxwell,
It's just
fucking
it's blank.
figure it out, okay? No, he hasn't streamed in months. I think the last time he streamed was because we did Star Wars: The Old Republic together.
Yeah, and like my stream had to like close early because
Yeah,
my
your stream
recording
was
was so bad.
Fuck, dude, you need to get better Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on with your Wi-Fi, man. You gotta fix that. Hang on,
You know,
wait, guys, I'm
Yeah,
sober
I
now.
rent.
hey Kale, do you think it's one of those things where you'd be able to help me figure out how to stream my Xbox from my computer? Because I think that I want the benefits of streaming from a computer, but I don't want to play on my computer.
Yeah, I could probably figure it out. I know. I think I know what you would be like supposed to do. Guys, do
I
you
need
want to
like
make
a
this
connection or
episode like
something.
3 hours long?
Uh,
No, I have
well, how
things
long
to
are they
do.
usually? Like an hour?
We did a 2 hour and 7 minute one, and it was so long that RSS refused to upload it to YouTube for us, so I had to do it on my own.
I would say maybe we could do it a little longer than your average episode, but maybe not 3 hours. 3 hours seems a little
I
excessive.
feel like we should do 3 hours because it's our 100th episode. I'm willing to come back to it later if
I'm
you guys
not.
want. We could
I'm
do like
not.
2 ad breaks. We could do 2 ad breaks.
Two
Oh
ad
my
breaks,
god,
but
we
you
could
only have
double
one
the
ad.
ads. We
You
could
only have
double the
one
ad.
ad. You can't just put the same ad twice. They're not gonna
It's
pay you
2
double.
ads. There's Liquid IV.
Oh, I forgot about Liquid. You see, the thing is, like, as soon as we talked about Liquid IV last time, I had mentioned like that maybe I should look into it,
You
and
should.
and
It's really good, actually.
now I don't really got to because I don't got anybody to give Liquid IV to.
Get it for yourself.
shit.
Get fucking 20% off everything in the store.
You know, I had to whenever I was cleaning out the car, I threw away some Liquid IVs because they were just chilling there.
Did you get them online?
Well, I
No,
didn't
you
get
got
them
them in the grocery
online.
store. Hang
No,
on.
it was my mom's car, and she didn't need them anymore, so I threw them away.
It's
I'm
like,
just not gonna say.
we don't need
anything.
any more liquid IV after this.
This
This is the
all
first
right.
thing that's gotta go is this
All
liquid
right.
IV.
Well, I threw away a lot of
Hang on.
things. I just Liquid IV happened to just be one of the things.
All right. They have a new pear flavor and a new grapefruit flavor. How do you guys feel about grapefruit?
How about you wait until the ad? All right, I'm trying to
No,
have a
I'm-
conversation with my
spoiling
I'm
it.
people
selling
here.
shit. I'm selling shit. Hang
Sell
on.
it during the ad.
No, I'm selling it now, baby. Have you
Are we-
tried the
Are
strawberry
we doing an
lemonade
ad
one?
break? Because I'm noticing that we're not.
We're
we
going
haven't
to the
shut
ad
up.
break when we'll go to the ad break now. You know what? You wanna hassle me about it? You wanna hassle me about it? We'll go to the fucking ad break now. How do you feel about that?
Feel
We'll go to the
good.
fucking ad break. All right.
All
ad
right,
break
bye.
time. Goodbye. I love you. Goodbye. This episode is sponsored by Liquid IV, the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. We've been partnering with them all summer, and I've been using it to beat the heat through some of these particularly nasty heat waves. While it was scorching hot outside, I was staying cool and refreshed with Liquid IV and their 12 delicious flavors.
One stick of liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates you twice as fast and far more efficiently than water alone, and it also contains 5 essential vitamins and 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, without any GMOs, gluten, dairy, or soy. Liquid IV is also committed to equitable access to clean water worldwide, partnering with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions with communities that protect both their water and their futures, and donating 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code IIHSPodcast, all one word, at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code IIHSPodcast, again, all one word, at liquidiv.com. Thank you again to Liquid IV for partnering with us. This podcast is sponsored by Amanda Redwine, your no-nonsense talk therapist and parent coach. Serving individuals and couples in both Illinois and Florida for counseling/therapy, as well as worldwide for parent coaching. Amanda's specialty is working with teens and young adults, as well as their family systems. Amanda has extensive experience working with youth who identify on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. She has also done couples work based on a foundation of the Gottman method. She brings a light, no-nonsense approach to treatment that is approachable and empathetic. She is unflappable and makes her clients comfortable from the very beginning. Find out more at www.amandaredwine.com. That's AMANDAREDWINE.com. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode, and back to the show. Welcome back. I went on a little odyssey. During the ad break, I said, you know what, I'm going to go get a beer, right? But but I don't have a bottle opener. It's not a twist off, right? So I was like, shit, I gotta go get my multi tool out of my car. So I went out to my car, got my multi tool. I came back in, and I was almost too drunk to use it. I was very drunk to use it, but I figured it out. I got it in there, and now I've got my beer. Woo, my beer! I love beer. I don't love this beer. Danny, I feel like, as a Mexican yourself, you can say that Corona is like the worst Mexican beer, right?
I don't drink beer, and I don't
Boom.
consider myself Mexican.
Just shut him down.
So I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm drunk.
I went over this with you, Kale. I consider myself white. I'm white, Native American, and partly Hispanic.
Every time I talk to your fucking cousins, I tell them that you're white, and they say, no, he's not. He's Mexican.
It's because it's my dad's side. You never met my dad's side because my dad's not around, and and his family's not around either. My dad was white, was very white.
Danny, are you sure your dad's not around?
You gotta respect. You gotta respect
I'm-
his positionality.
sure?
I'm pretty sure my dad's
you
not
sure?
around.
Are you sure?
No, Well, I'll tell you
'Cause
kind
I
of
was
like what
just down
happened
there.
with it,
I was
right?
just down there.
What are you trying to say?
What are you?
I
trying to
am
say?
your father.
Okay, well, I was actually gonna go into a story about what
love-
happened with my dad, but we could do that too.
Go ahead, tell your story. I need to drink my beer.
So pretty much the story. My dad was in my life until I was 7.
Mhm.
After I was 7, he and my mom kind of disagreed about some of his decisions. So he kind of was like banished to the shadow realm, unless he wanted to kind of play under her terms. Which I get it because he was kind of very irresponsible and she didn't really trust him around us. But he never really played to her terms, and so he just kind of left, right?
Mhm.
Then a couple years ago, my mom comes up to me and she's like, "Oh man, your dad wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "I don't want him to have my number. Give him my Xbox account." So he messages me on Xbox, right?
I like where the
That's-
story is going.
Okay, that's actually really funny. That's actually
Right.
that's really funny.
And then we kind of get in like this little disagreement where he's kind of like bad talking to my mom, and I'm kind of getting mad at him. And then he just says, he says like, "Oh, I love you," and I'm like, "I know." And then he kind of beats himself up over it, and then never talks to me again.
Damn, he hit you with that Han Solo riz.
Right? He kind of was like, "Oh man, it's
Wow.
your mom's fault that you don't get to talk and da 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 da." And I'm just like, "Nah, not really." And then because I'm defending her obviously, and then he gets mad at himself, doesn't talk to me anymore after that, right?
Yeah, I feel that, bro.
And
feel
now
that.
that everything's happened, I have no way to really contact him. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't tried to message him on Xbox, but I 100% doubt he has notifications set up
Yo,
for
when
his
that is
Xbox app.
when that is the only way to get in touch, you gotta
That's
hop
not-
on the Xbox.
That's not the only way to get in touch, but I never had his number, and he was notorious for changing his number like all the time. Maybe if I get her phone back once they're done with it, I could check to see if she has like a message history with him. But I have no idea what his number is. I
Cheers,
have no
bro.
idea how to reach him. The
I'll
only
drink to
thing
that, bro.
The only thing that I know is that my mom would say every now and then that she would contact his sister via Facebook, and I don't know his sister's name, so that's not going to be very helpful either.
Mm.
I feel like you'd be able to tell, right? Because like she looks like you,
Uh, my dad's sister.
or she looks like him. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I don't even know where to begin because this
You check her
person.
Facebook.
I don't have her Facebook. I can't even find my dad's Facebook. I've tried to find my dad's Facebook, and he has like 4 or 5, and I don't think he uses any of them.
Yo.
Well, you have his Xbox account. Just fucking ask him.
He doesn't. Do you really think he's gonna respond to me on Xbox? I think he doesn't even use the Xbox anymore.
Do you think he switched to PS5? Do you think he
Man.
got himself a PS5? He wanted to play Spider-Man 2. He's like, man, I heard Tony Todd was Venom, man. I'm real excited for that.
See, my dad has always been like a mess. Like he still owed my mom so much money and like child support, and he would get a job, and then as soon as they would start taking the money out of his paychecks, like after they realized that he owed money, he would just quit and get another job, and he would do
Dang.
that over and over
Man.
again. That way, he like just never had to pay for anything.
He can't keep
Man.
getting away with it.
He would
He-
work for a couple of months,
you
and then
can't
once
keep
the
getting away with this.
yeah, he'd work for a couple of months. Once they started to catch on to the fact that he had debts, he was like, time for another job, or he would just get paid in cash. So he's a mess.
Holy shit. Holy shit. He's just been riding the wave.
You
That's
know,
true.
so technically, my dad, he could come around. I don't think that is very realistic because he's had like 17 years and he hasn't come around. So I don't think he's coming around
You're
realistically.
24.
Turning 24 this year.
Jesus fuck, you're old. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
and you're young, Kale. You're like a little baby.
I'm turning 22 this year.
See, I'm old
Yeah,
compared to
fuck.
y'all,
That's
but
baby.
I'm old compared to y'all, and I'm not even that old compared to y'all, really.
Danny, don't say y'all. You may be from Texas. You are not Southern. You are not Southern, dude.
Y'all is a part of like my regular vocabulary. You can't just
It
take that
is
away from me.
not.
Y'all
It
is part of
not.
Danny's vernacular.
He did not say y'all a single time while I was down there in Houston with him. That is bullshit.
What do
He
you
is-
say? You say you all like
No,
some
I
weird
say
person?
y'all because I am Southern.
What do you mean? I am from Texas. That's like the most southern place you can be at.
All right, no, Southern is
Yeah,
a state
tell
of
him like
mind,
it is.
and you do not have that state of mind.
Southern
Oh,
is
So it's not enough to be living in Texas and
Yes.
from Texas to be
Yes.
Southern.
Have you met someone from Austin?
yeah, I've met people from Austin.
They are not fucking Texan. They are not Southern. Austin is just little California, and
Well,
Houston is
Austin-
just little LA. Okay.
well, Austin is like North Texas, and Houston's like Central Texas.
It's east central, southeast. Let's be real here.
Southeast. Sure.
Central is Dallas. Okay.
You're right.
Fort
Dallas
Worth
is
central.
Dallas is a little bit more central,
Yeah.
but Austin's like very North Texas, right? And I
I
feel
know,
like
but
all of
it's
Texas
not
is the South.
North
though.
Texas. It's not the North Texas part that makes Austin fucking not Southern. It's the fact that everyone who lives there is from California. Everyone who lives there is from California.
I heard Austin's a nice place, though, to be honest, and I'm kind of getting tired of Houston, so Austin might be a nice change of pace, you know?
Does sound
You
chill.
know, Kale was trying to move me out of Texas entirely. He was like, just
I
come live
did
with
say
me.
that.
Oh, shit.
It's just Houston's not a good place for you, man. You know, you can move up here. I'll give you rent on the cheap. You and Dylan, and Monica and Jennifer. You can all move up here. I'll give you rent on the cheap.
Wow, you won't even move shit in your second guest bed.
I will. Okay.
That's not inviting at all.
One of them
He's-
is gonna have to share. One couple is gonna have to share a twin bed because I can't fit a queen bed in there. Right? I can maybe fit a full, and that's about as much as I could.
You're
People
you
be
could
calling me
you're
right
full
now.
of
I just
shit.
Don't know why?
I'm not full of shit. Haven't I shown you that room as well? It's tiny. That room is tiny, man. It's
Well,
so
it's
small.
tiny with all those boxes in there.
No, even if you took out the boxes, it's not big enough for a queen. I'm telling you, because I have a queen and my other guest bedroom has a queen.
Well,
so
then
I know
I
how
got
big a queen is.
I got news for you. This queen ain't coming to your home.
Maxwell, I didn't invite you to live in my home. I invited you to come stay in my home for a little while and share a bed with Danny, but I didn't invite you to come live in my home.
You know, I am planning on moving out. I think I did tell you that, right?
You did. You and or Jennifer have told me that you don't want to stay in Houston.
Well, not in Houston. It's not that I'm trying to move out of Houston. I'm just trying to move out of my house.
You also have
For-
told me that, yes.
for
But
reasons
you've been
that I
trying to do
talked
that for a while.
About before, I've been thinking about doing it for a long time, but like this is the year where I've actually started like kind of planning for it. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Before
fair enough.
it was more of just like a one day, but now it's like definitely trying to make it happen, right?
I mean, you kind of have to, but yeah, it makes sense.
And it was going to be the three of us moving out, right? But now it's just gonna be the two of us moving out.
Who's the third?
My mom,
Oh
me,
yeah,
and my
fair enough.
brother, right?
Yeah.
And now it's just gonna be me and my brother.
Yep.
Cause see, the thing is with my mom and I, we've never really beefed. You know what I mean? We've always been real cool with each other. So it's not like living with a parent. It's kind of just like we're cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas some parents, you can't really live with them, or else you kind of feel like you're not able to do anything.
Right. I love
Yeah.
my dad. Don't get me wrong. I love him. Could not live with him. Could not.
Yeah, so you kind of get that, right? Where there's some parents where you can't it's not really a good idea. But my
Right.
mom,
Yeah.
she was always real chill. That's why I was down. But now it's just gonna be me and my brother,
Hmm.
and maybe Monica. Uh,
No Jennifer yet. She's not coming to live with you yet.
no, I don't think that's no.
Fair enough. I actually got to meet her in person. So, I get it. I get it.
No.
She can be a bit much.
But yeah, like so me and Dylan definitely, maybe Monica. We'll have to talk
Monica's
about that.
chill. I fuck with Monica. I fuck with Monica heavily.
But it's real funny actually. Do you remember Tony? Whenever you came over, do you remember
Yeah,
Tony?
your cousin Tony. Yeah, I know him.
No, no,
Yeah.
Tony. My Tony's like my neighbor from down the street. He's like
Oh,
the Asian
that
guy.
Tony. Yeah, sorry. I get confused. I'm drunk.
Like if you remember Tony, he's been going through like a breakup, and let me tell you, I love this man. I think he's great. I think he's wonderful. But let me tell you,
Hell yeah.
he's been on something
He's been
ever since his
tweaking.
breakup happened.
It seems like he was
Mhm.
tweaking a little bit.
And he's always been a little eccentric, but now he's like now he's just so insecure, and he's asking like all these questions, and he's sad. And he messaged me like yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, I was thinking maybe we can move in together." And I don't really have the heart to tell him I don't think that's a good idea.
That man needs to get some pussy.
I think
That's my diagnosis. I'm a psych major. This is all right. I'm gonna put on my diagnosis hat. Everybody, this is Kale's psych major corner. This is where I listen to your opinions and your situation, and I diagnose you, and I tell you that you need to be on medication or get laid, and or get laid.
my
Sometimes you need
my
to be
whole
on
thing with
medication and get laid.
my whole thing with Tony is I think he just needs to kind of like figure himself out, because he's trying to do so much for like everybody else, and he's like, oh man, what can I do to get her back, and what can I do for this, what can I do for that? I'm just
No,
like,
he
how about
needs to
you
move
just
on and get some pussy.
I
I would have taken him to fucking Ojos
Whoa.
Locos. If he had come with us, I would have gotten that man some pussy. Man.
Yeah, he comes out with us every now and then, but he definitely doesn't come out with us like for things like that usually.
How's his Riz skill?
To be honest, I've never seen it in action, because in
How
high
hot
school,
was
whenever
his
we were
ex
together,
girlfriend?
um, I don't know. She was a nice girl, I would
That
say not
doesn't
really like
answer my
hot, more
question.
cute. You know what I mean?
Okay, but still, like 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say good girl. Not hot, but like cute, right? I think
Okay,
that's
girl
kind of
next
what he
door
wants.
type thing. Girl next door type thing. I
Sure,
get it.
yeah, that's
Someone,
kind of a good way to describe
someone
it,
you
right?
could look in their eyes, right?
Yeah, not at her boobs because she didn't have any, but look at
I
her
look at
eyes.
everybody in their eyes, but it doesn't look like Kale's keeping his eyes up there,
No.
Danny, I don't know if you know this. I struggle with eye contact. It just unless I'm trying to, I just don't. It doesn't occur to me to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, but like
Holy
whenever
shit, I'm
whenever he
drunk.
got with that girl, right? I don't know how he did it. I wasn't there. I didn't witness it, but it must have worked whatever he did, right? Because they were together for a while. But I remember in high school, whenever I got to actually like witness it, it was pretty bad, in high school.
Ooh.
But after high school, I guess he figured something out, because it worked out for him for a little bit until they broke up recently.
You know what? He'll get it's just a phase. He needs to get some pussy and get over it. Okay? That's number one. All right. Whenever there's a man in society and he is struggling, 99% of the time, pussy will solve the issue.
I don't even think 99% of men are like into women.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure. But 99% of the time, they just need some pussy and they'll get over it. Okay.
But it's
That,
you know
that metric does not check out.
he'll call me or he'll message me, and it'll always be like the strangest things or like the silliest questions. He called me yesterday. He was like, "Hey, can I come over?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure." And then he's like, "Can you open the door?" And I'm just like, "Why are you already here?" Like,
Aren't you neighbors
Oh.
with him? Doesn't he live like right next door?
I know, but why would he call me to ask if he can come over? But he's already at the door. Like
Because he's a
he
Mhm.
called as if he was about to walk over, and then he's
He's
already
already
walked over.
there. He's
That's
like,
what I'm.
hey, can I like walk in now? Thank you.
That's
He's like,
some
hey,
shit I would do. If
he's
I
like,
had people who lived in like this neighborhood, I would do that too. Except all my friends are poor.
like
You too.
with. Okay,
Says the
I
guy
get
who
it. I'm
won't
poor.
buy a says the guy who won't buy a camera. with all his
The thing
money.
is, with Tony, I think that it's okay because he lives like down the street. But still, it was just really weird because I'm over here like in the back room, you know, where we have that pool table, right? So I don't
He
really.
has a little bit of autism. I'm gonna be honest with you. He might be a little bit autistic, but like not in a bad way, right? Like he's got the tism in the same way that like uh I'm trying to think of someone, but because I'm absolutely plastered, my brain can only focus on like niche YouTubers.
Let me help you. Do you got a mirror anywhere?
Fuck you. We're autistic in different ways, okay?
I would say
Hit
that
the
like
spectrum, yo.
the thing about Tony, right, is that Tony kind of doesn't match the vibe. He's a little bit more eccentric. He's a little bit more excitable, right?
Autistic.
Whereas
You can say the word.
our
I'm
little
giving you
group,
permission to use the slur.
like me, my brother, Monica, you know, my sister, all them, right? Like they're all like we're all just like chill, kind of like vibe people. You know,
Normies.
we just sit down. We can all like play a board game, watch a movie. You know, play at the pool table. We're
Mhm.
chilling. You know, but Tony, he's a little bit more. He needs a little bit more attention, I think.
He has autism. It's
I
okay.
I
You
wouldn't say
can
that,
say it.
but I wouldn't go that far.
As an autism expert myself, he may indeed have autism, but it's okay. I think he's cool. I think he's okay. Some of my best friends have autism.
You have friends?
Yo. Oh no.
Danny, I was including you in that, you autistic fuck. I've ranked everyone in our in the old atop the table group. I ranked everyone in the old atop the table group, and I was the least autistic.
By your own
That's
According
rankings.
to what metric? You
I'm
say
a
you can't.
psych major. If anyone's an expert, it's me.
I don't think that makes you an expert.
My
Yeah,
on, like,
GPA in
just-
psychology is 3.856. If anyone's an expert, it's me. That's
I
like
think-
an A+ average.
I don't. I think you're a little biased, though. I feel like conflict of interest. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
You know,
I
you have
was
to
the-
you have to always be considerate of your own biases.
Okay, who has the best executive functioning out of the three of us?
Executive functioning. Like, what do you? For what reason is that important for autism?
It's very important for autism. It's very important for autism because people with autism struggle with executive functioning, right, Maxwell?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So-
Hang on, let me.
But like, what type
I'll
of
drink
things
to
are
that, bro. Cheers.
what type of things are you testing for executive function, though?
Time management.
Is that it? Is it just time management?
That's one of the biggest ones. Yes. Organizational skills, time management, that sort of thing. Like the ability to like plan your life, right? The ability to like, okay, I have this, this, and this. I can prioritize this, this, and this. You know, like that sort of thing, right? Like waking up, you know, being like, okay, here's what I have to do before I go to school, or here's what I have to do before I go to work. You know,
I
got
feel
to-
like it's one of those things where I don't think people are bad at it. I don't think people care enough, though. So it makes it look makes them look like they're bad at it, right? Because if I don't care about something, I won't really make it a big effort to like to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Danny, when people say it isn't a competition, it's because they would lose if it was. Okay,
Did I say that?
it's what you're implying. Okay, and I'm not gonna have it. Okay, I'm not gonna hear it.
You know, because it's one of those things where, like, let's say you make a plan, right? And your girlfriend doesn't really care about like the event. You know, she's just going there, you know, because you want to do it right. Maybe she'll forget some of the details. You know, maybe she'll be a little late. You know, but you're gonna be on top of it. You're gonna be thinking about it because
But
because
I'm
it
on
matters
top
to
of
you and it doesn't matter to her. You know.
everything.
Mm.
Like I don't. I used to
So
be really bad at it. Like Maxwell can attest. We used to live together. I used to be not very great at executive functioning. It may have been before your time when I was really, really bad at it. Because I had to learn. I learned a little bit before you. Like, I don't know. I used to be hopped up on fucking antidepressants. I used to be self-medicating. So, I didn't really care about school at all. So I never did like any assignments. And then when I went to boarding school, I did them because there wasn't that much homework. But then when I went to high school, I didn't do very many. I had like a 2.95 GPA coming out of high school because I would ace every test. Every single test, I would get like 85 or above.
So you got a 2.95.
you see,
But I
in
never
hi-
did homework.
in high school, I was kind of the same way. It's like I had a lot of potential. I could have done a lot better. I just didn't care enough.
I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that one, Chief.
You see how as soon as I like to talk about myself, it's just
Yeah, he
shooting me down.
No, I'm not shooting it
completely
down. Like, we can keep
disregard
talking
what
about
Danny
it.
said.
It's
We can
just
keep
rude,
talking about it. It's just I
rude
don't
for
know
the sake
about
of
that one,
being
Chief.
rude. Do you know what I mean? Rude for the sake
Yeah,
of being rude.
I get you.
I'm
You gotta let him share, Kale.
I'm letting him share. I'm just saying I don't know about that one. Because
I
if
don't
anyone's a
know, man.
genius here, c'est moi.
I'm not even trying to compare. I'm just talking about myself. You're talking about yourself. Why we gotta start comparing all of a sudden?
Like I
We're,
said, when
we're just
people
having.
say it's not a competition, it's usually because they lose.
It's
So
not
I
a
always
competition
say,
because I
it,
don't care enough about you.
Yeah,
I always say
not
it is
enough
a
to
competition.
it's not enough to like make a big deal about it for most people.
I don't know.
You know,
I
Because
like
maybe people don't have the same like heightened concern about this that you have.
it's also a thing where I feel like comparing yourself to others is kind of a toxic thing at some level. I feel like
uh,
every now and then, like, it's fine, but like if you do it too much, it kind of becomes like a toxic trait, you
I
know?
mean,
Yeah.
true. I see where you're coming from. Like as a psych major, I see where you're coming from. Like that's not the most healthy thing to do. But at the same time, from a different approach of psychology, that's like the main thing that we do, right? Like that's the human thing, right? Like even with eyesight,
Yeah,
right?
but things are also good in moderation. So like,
That's true,
you know,
but
even though we can all acknowledge that it's something we all do, it doesn't mean that like it should just be, you know, left to the wolves.
no, but I don't think you should disregard comparing yourself to others because like like let me cook here, right? But like even 3D vision, right? Like even the fact that we see in 3 dimensions is because we're comparing what we see from our left side to our right, right? Like if you have two eyes, you're comparing what they are, and that's how you get depth perception, right? Like everyone's comparing everything all the time. And that's it, it sucks. It sucks to feel like you're being compared to others, but like we don't have a concept of that if we don't have something to compare something to. So
Well,
it's
that's
like,
that's why I said there's a kind of like a balance. I feel like
yeah,
it's
and
good
I agree with
it's
that.
good in moderation, and it's
I don't
good
know.
and it's better with some things, right? Like whenever it comes to like vision or whenever it comes to other things like that, like obviously that makes sense, right? That's not going to negatively affect you. But there's certain times where comparing doesn't help you. It kind of just makes you feel worse or it makes other people feel worse, and that's kind of just a toxic thing to do.
But then you got to get better, unless it's things like height.
Yeah, but how do you do
Because,
that? How do you do that when you already think you're perfect though? That's the question.
well, who's to say perfect can't be perfected, right? Who's to say, right?
I don't
No,
know. Probably the people who profess how perfect they are.
I say it all the time that I'm perfect, but I could still get even more perfect. I can't help it. Just because the standard keeps rising doesn't mean that you don't have to that you just
Uphold
stop
yourself
going.
to
I
it.
think it's good to have like a lot of self-worth, a lot of confidence.
Hmm.
But again, there's that line that you cross whenever you become a little too confident and then it becomes toxic.
There's no such thing as too confident, right?
There's
No such
definitely
thing.
there is definitely a
There's no
thing
such
Yeah.
thing
as
as
too
too
confident.
confident. I don't
There's
know what
totally
you're
not a
talking about.
word called overconfidence in the language.
Overconfidence is for people who are actually
I feel like
not confident enough.
with a lot of things in life, it's all about moderation and balance. And some people aren't able to strike that balance, you know?
I just say the people who say it's
I
not a
think you're
competition
right.
would lose the competition, right? You never. All right, if you're running a
But
race,
you're saying that from a competitive mindset. Maybe somebody else is not trying to compete with you,
you never see Usain Bolt saying it's not a race,
but
right?
he's trying to compete. Like
Literally
The
uses an example of competition.
winners never say it's not a competition. That's all I'm gonna say.
because usually they're playing to win. If you're not playing to win, if you're just playing to play,
But
or if
if
you're
you're
playing
not
to like
playing to
improve,
win, then you're like that's what I'm saying, right? People who would win play to win. People who wouldn't win don't, because then they would lose. And losing sucks, right? Like everybody knows that. Losing sucks. Losing is cringe. And yeah, nobody
there's
likes
lots
to
of
lose.
reasons to play. There's lots of reasons to participate. Some people play because they enjoy the activity. Some people play because they want to improve on their skill. Some people play, for the competition aspect, right? It's not always about competing with others. Sometimes it's competing with yourself. Sometimes it's setting a goal. It could be a lot of things. I feel like not everybody's gonna have the same mindset when it comes to, their idea of like success or their idea of like improving or a victory, you know?
You wanna know what's really sad?
I think you gotta listen to the point here.
I get
You
it,
know,
but do
it's
you wanna
not,
know what's really sad?
but
I'm I'm
it's not always about like winning. Maybe it's about like being humbled and learning something and being like, maybe there don't have to be winners for us
humility
to
is for
all get
people who
along.
aren't perfect.
And it's one of those things where like let's say you compare yourself to your friends or you compare yourself to people around you, right?
Hmm.
You don't always see what they had to go through. They don't always see what you had to go through. You don't know where they came from. They don't know where you came from. If you do too much comparing and you just kind of see where they're at and where you're at without kind of acknowledging the fact that y'all are both going at different speeds, you'll both have your own problems. Maybe you had some setbacks that they didn't have, you'll just make yourself feel bad. That's why you can't compare yourself too much because not every two people are gonna have like the same situation, right?
Well,
Uh,
just because you feel bad doesn't mean you should not compare yourself.
I'm not saying
Like
not compare yourself. I'm just
that's the
saying
prop. That's
I'm
I feel
saying
like that's a problem that we have.
it's a balance. That's what I'm saying. It's all about balance,
But
and
like
it's
what
hard to strike that balance sometimes.
But the problem that
It's a
I
good
see
point.
a lot of the time is people do feel bad when they compare themselves to others. And so instead of saying, okay, why do I feel bad when I compare myself to this person? Is it because I'm falling short of what I should be doing, right? Like for example, right? Let's bring up a hot button issue. You guys want to bring up a hot button issue?
It depends on what the issue is, I suppose.
Let's talk about body positivity, right? Let's talk about that.
Sure.
Hell yeah. Let's offend people. So, people are uh there's this movement, body positivity,
Hmm.
and people are sort of feeling like, hey, there's this pressure to be skinny or at least, like average-ish,
Is that
right?
what body positivity is?
Pressure to be skinny
I
or
think it's
muscular, I guess.
I thought it's like, talking about
No,
how
I'm
it
talking about I'm talking about like the societal stigma of like you have to be skinny or muscular or whatever the fuck, right? And body
Oh,
positivity is, you don't have to be that, right? But
Mhm.
there are some people in the body positivity movement who are offended by the fact that when you compare them to these people, they are not skinny or muscular or whatever the fuck, right? I don't know. Whatever their body goals are, they don't like being compared to it because they are not achieving that. Correct? Would you say that's a fair assessment? That some
I
people are offended when they don't, you know, live up to maybe society's expectations, maybe it's something on the more primal level. I personally
I think that it definitely is an issue that a lot of people have where they feel like they have to compare themselves to, I guess, the idealized body type with the idealized proportions, and they feel like that's what society kind of pushes onto them, right? And it's one of those things where if they want to change and they want to do that, they shouldn't have to feel like they're doing it for somebody else. They have to do it for themselves, right? And if they want to stay the way they are, that's fine too. That's kind of the whole point of like body positivity in the first place. Is like it doesn't matter what anybody else says. You know, it's whatever you want, right? I
I
do
am
think it's a little strange sometimes though, where people in the body positivity movement, right, will kind of attack people that are trying to improve themselves because then they're pretty much saying like, "Oh, you were fat before and you're working out to become skinny. Is it because you hate is it because you hate fat people?" And it's kind of
yes.
like now that I find really weird because I'm like that's kind of like it feels like the opposite. You know what I mean?
but
Because
that
body
They're
positivity,
definitely
offended
that,
because that somebody else is putting in effort more than they are.
but that definitely
That's the point.
doesn't represent the movement as an entirety or as a whole.
I just think
That's
people are too worried on about other people. I think you just need to worry about yourself more.
Here's my opinion, right? I and studies show this. This is not like just based
studies
on my
about you.
opinion. No, studies on people, even like isolated tribes in the Amazon rainforest, right? Like they go to like all sorts of like isolated tribes all over the world, and they do this study, right? And society does not dictate beauty norms across almost all human civilizations because we're all roughly descended from the same 1,000-ish individuals. We all have similar, not exactly the same, but similar beauty standards, right?
I don't think so.
Well, there's definitely like a genetic reason I think for that, right? It's one of those things where it's like, the strong survive or like, you look
Survival of
for
the
like
fittest, and you
yeah,
look for
survival of the
certain
fittest.
genetic traits. Yes,
Exactly. You look for certain genetic traits. So there's that component of it as well, right?
all human societies have a roughly very very similar baseline of what an attractive person of the opposite sex looks like. All of them. It's
And
very similar.
I I, f- I feel like maybe it's socialized, but I don't think it's like intrinsic to every person. People
It
have
is
their own.
because there are
That
certain
doesn't seem.
genetic markers
That
for a
doesn't.
healthy person to reproduce with.
yeah,
Well, what
well that's what
what
I'm saying. Like
about?
there's a lot of genetic things you look for, right? And that's kind of I think where it mostly comes from. And that's kind of just what society will show you as well, right?
Yeah,
Like
society doesn't give you the norms that you find attractive. It reflects what we already find attractive. That is statistically proven that there have been multiple studies shown on it, right? So it's not like, body positive people are like, hey, society is telling you what we find attractive. No, you already know what you find attractive. It's just that the people who are in charge of media, you know, the producers, the board members, that sort of thing, they hire people who are already fitting of those attractive norms, right? Because overall, facial symmetry for both sexes, right? Facial symmetry, um, moderate BMI, uh, height generally, and then specific things for both sexes, right? Strong jaw for males, um, large eyes for females, uh,
There's a little
gy-
bit of a range, but yeah, it's kind of
gynoid fat
usually
deposits, usually.
it's a lot of very similar traits though.
Yes.
Like you can exchange like the eye color, you can exchange like the hair color, you can exchange a couple of different things, but there's kind of a set, I guess, of traits that are all kind of the same for all of them, right?
Yes. And within that, we also are sort of genetically predisposed to find people of our cultures similar because there's like an outgroup bias and also like like we are more uh, genetically predisposed to, like, for example, right, um, the Native Americans did not have domesticated animals, so they didn't have resistance to smallpox, uh, uh, chickenpox, blah 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 blah, all those, right? So you would like they wouldn't have the same disease resistances as you, and you wouldn't have a disease resistance to anything that they had, right? So genetically, we're predisposed to people in like who look like us. It's called the proximity effect.
Hmm.
Birds of a feather flock together, and we're more predisposed to people who look like us because they have the same disease resistances as we do. So we're not going to catch a disease from canoodling with them. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Does that
what
make
does this
sense?
have to do with attraction?
Like we're more attracted to people who look like us.
Well, I think it all comes down to like what we were saying earlier, though, right? Where I feel like people will compare. Maybe you'll compare, but
Everyone
I feel like
compares everyone.
in the
Always.
modern day, I feel like people are so worried about the opinions of others, and they're so worried about their perception to other people. When I feel like nobody's opinion should really matter when it comes to things like that, except your own, right?
I disagree.
I
Well,
I
think
disagree.
I
I
don't
think
care what the bullies at school say. I don't care what like the people online say. I feel like if you're happy with yourself, then why should you let somebody else take that away from you?
you
If
raise a good point that like there's a there's like some sort of like byproduct of like how big like social media has gotten to the point where people are less able to share their own opinions than they are to consume other people's opinions. And it should be a platform for sharing your opinions. Like,
But what if
right?
your opinions are wrong, Maxwell?
Well, that doesn't stop people, obviously.
Yeah, it already doesn't stop the people who post. So you better take it up with those people who are already doing that because
But
you've got like hundreds of thousands of those people lined up already. You can ask them, but they're going to keep posting, I think.
that's true. But here's my point, right? Here's my point. If you don't, all right, for better or worse, human beings are social animals. We are pack animals. We cannot survive in isolation. We are mentally unable to survive in isolation. Like it is a thing in hamsters, in rodents, and in like even larger mammals, right? Mammals of comparable size to us, right? If they are social animals and they are cut off from other animals of the same species, they will die, right? Like if you get a hamster or like a certain kind of like rodent by itself, it will die of loneliness. Humans do that too. So if you spend your life doing whatever you want, not like I don't care what other people think of me, right? Like I don't care, like if this person thinks I'm rude or abrasive and whatever, like I am rude and abrasive. I get that. I'm aware. I I get it. But if you don't care about that, if you spend all your time acting like yourself and pushing other people away because you don't want to change to fit in, you will be alone, and loneliness is, according to the CDC, according to the World Health Organization, according to the APA, it is deadly. Like, being lonely is worse for your health than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
Okay,
It's really bad.
It's a good.
it's
It's something to
one of those
consider, but it's like
things.
how you use that.
It's one of those things. It all comes back to, like, literally almost every single problem all comes back to the same thing. It's all about a balance and about moderation, right? Of course, if you take one extreme or another extreme, both sides are going to look pretty bad. It's about trying to find that place in the middle, right? I'm not saying like discount everybody's opinions if they don't agree with you, right? I'm not saying don't change certain things about yourself if like it's going to like make it to where like you're lonely, right? But there's also a thing where you can just surround yourself with people that are going to support you. You can surround yourself with people that are positive. You can change your negative traits without, changing who you are, changing everything about you. And you can also be happy with yourself about the things that maybe other people, are a little bit more opinionated on, right?
I
It's
feel
it's
like
just
that's
all
an
it's all a
appeal to
balance.
moderation.
Yeah.
It's all a
Well,
balance.
that sounds appealing.
Okay, but an appeal to moderation is sort of it's a fallacy, right? It's like an appeal to like the slippery slope fallacy, right? Like, just because something is the middle ground doesn't mean
But
it's
can you
always right.
Well, the middle is different for everybody, right? Some people
exactly?
are going to find it better to be on one side, or some people are going to find it better to be on the other side.
Finding people
every,
who unconditionally approve of you is what gave us the Star Wars prequels. And having watched The Phantom Menace sober, fully sober, a couple of nights ago, I can tell you for a fact that just having people who unconditionally support you is not a good idea.
Well, then you were
No
kind of
support
supporting.
should be unconditional.
Well,
every
you're
situation
supporting
calls...
Danny's argument. Like it's not
No,
about
midichlorians
no, because you're
should not be
talking,
unconditional.
but you're talking about how like someone is unconditionally supporting another person, and that doesn't sound like moderation at all.
I think there should be more conditions on support.
Every single situation, every single person, every single circumstance is going to be slightly different. No two circumstances are going to be the same. Every circumstance needs to be like, evaluated differently. And some of them are going to require more moderation. Some are going to require less moderation. Maybe some more tough love, maybe some more support.
This feels like
it's the whole point is like for every person they need to find that moderation for themselves in order to be happy, because if they don't find that moderation, if they don't find that line, that middle, they're just going to either be unhappy or they're going to be alone. It's going to be one or the other.
I don't think it should be a normal Gaussian curve of like there's a middle ground. I think there's more of a skew for this. I think there's definitely more of a skew where there are a lot more things where being compared to others is necessary, right? Like, Danny, you're trying to go to grad school, right? Like, you're trying to get a master's. Maxwell, you're trying to get a master's.
I am not trying to get a master's. I'm trying to get a bachelor and get out.
You're trying to be an engineer, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to get a master's though.
I'm pretty sure you have to get a master's for that.
A bachelor's,
I'm 99% sure.
If I need a master's, we'll worry about that when we get there. But I'm going to just get a bachelor's for now. One thing at a time.
If you're going to build buildings, I think they're going to make you get a master's degree, at least, if not a PhD.
I think that whenever it comes to a lot of those type of careers, right, a lot of it is education. But I would say a majority, probably most of it, is just going to be experience. So it depends. It depends on what the job is, and it depends on what's required for the job.
I would prefer someone with a master's over someone with experience any day.
I'm saying, like, if I join a company and I'm at that company for X amount of years and I have X amount of years of experience, I think I would be more qualified than somebody who's just getting out of college with a master's degree with no experience. You see what I mean? Like, it's not all
Yeah,
about
you
schooling.
you build your own resume in that way.
Right? I'm not saying like I'm gonna start at the finish line where I want to be. You know what I mean? I'm saying that maybe I get my degree, I start like on a lower position, and then I work my way up to that position with my school and with my experience.
I think someone who has a master's degree is more mathematically proficient than someone with experience. And
Not
also,
necessarily, maybe
Not
on
really.
paper, but like maybe like, you know, if you look at just the degrees, sure, you're like, okay, this person probably knows more, but it's
in
not
order
just
to get
about
a
that.
master's degree, you have to do a thesis. There is practicum experience in a master's degree.
I don't think you need to do it. I don't think you need to have a thesis in order to design it or build a building.
No, but it's practicum experience and it's peer reviewed. So experts in the field look at your shit and they say, okay, this looks good, right? Rather than,
And also, a lot of like those sort of assignments where like you're building a building, you have a team of people, right? So it's not like me having like less school experience is going to really affect the final product if I'm doing everything else I need to do. The only thing that a master's might be able to do is either start me later on towards the path that I want. It'll give me like a tiny bit of a jump start, I would suppose. But either way, a bachelor should be enough to get where I want to go.
I'm not
Mhm.
sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true.
I think that the only thing that you would ever need to get like more education for is whenever it comes to, I guess, the competition behind jobs, right? Because let's say you have two candidates, one with a master's degree and one with a bachelor's degree. On paper, the master's degree looks better, right? But you know, does that mean that the person with a bachelor's degree isn't able to do the job? No, they probably can still do the job. They'll probably still do a really good job. It's just on paper. Like
Yeah,
if you had to choose just one, you would probably choose a master's degree, right?
yeah.
Whenever it comes to things like that, I can understand the appeal for the master's degree. But if I get the job, I'm probably still going to do a really good job, even if I don't have this the extra education.
All right, Danny, let me ask you this, right? Say you've been stabbed in the kidney, right? Say your argument has pissed me off and I've taken a knife and I have stabbed you in the kidney. You are going to the hospital and you've got two candidates, right, to take a look at you and save your life.
Oh,
Right?
you're gonna use this argument? You're gonna like bring up a specialized profession that requires a college degree in
Being
order to
an
base your
architect
argument?
should be a specialized position that requires a college degree.
Well, it depends on where you get your education. Sometimes you can get an education in architecture, but you don't have to attend college to receive it. Like, I think
Do
you
you
should
know
know.
how many industrial disasters have happened because of people who did not properly secure their buildings because they were inexperienced?
But
A
do you
lot.
but do
who
you
would
think
you
those people
rather-
didn't have college degrees?
Not high enough.
Who would you rather be in charge of like building your building? Somebody with a master's degree with 2 years of experience, or somebody with a bachelor's degree with 10 years of experience?
Someone with a master's degree because they've had to do a thesis and it was peer reviewed by experts. 100%.
You know,
Would you rather have someone with a bachelor's degree look at your stab wound or someone with a medical doctorate or
I mean,
a registered
I
nurse?
to be honest with you, I haven't really been like in a position where I needed surgery or anything like that, right? But I have been I've been pricked by a phlebotomist before. And let me tell you, whenever the phlebotomist pricks me, I want the one who knows where to stab me. That way they don't have to stab me 3 times.
Okay,
Because that's happened in the past. I don't like that. I prefer the ones with experience, the one who knows what to do. I don't care how much how much education they had. If they can't stab me in the right spot.
But it gets you better experience. That's the point.
No,
That's the point.
degree and experience, the education and experience are not the same thing.
No, and education gives you experience because you have to do practicum. That's the point. Every master's degree, every PhD, every doctorate level experience means you have to get practicum experience. You
Right,
have
but
to
you
get some kind of internship.
right, but you could use that same amount of time and get practicum experience and not be in college.
But you're not getting it from an expert. You're not getting it peer reviewed. That's the point.
Sometimes
But
I
those
feel like
people in those fields could be just as qualified as someone who would fill that same position in a college.
Then we would be giving out doctorates to people who got work experience, and that's not how that works.
it's not all about education. I feel like as time goes on, education is one of those things where it's less important for some careers, and it's less important to get higher level education whenever you can just do experience, right?
Considering how important math is to architecture, I think it should be one of those things where it's like on the level of like a medical degree. I think you should be a doctor if you're designing a skyscraper. Because if that fucks up, and we have seen examples where that has fucked up, it's disastrous, right? There's been plenty of like huge building collapses. There's been a few in South Korea where they've like outsourced it to people who weren't experienced enough, and they cut corners like with money, and it fucks over all the time. And I personally believe that if you want to build something higher than 3 stories tall, you should have a doctorate.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, Kale, right? Let's say I do pursue that path of a career, right? Let's say I start on smaller projects and I get really experienced, and then I go up a little bit more and I go up a little bit more. And then let's say maybe I am like on like a skyscraper type of project, but I'm not like the lead. I'm like the underling, and so I see the whole process, and like I'm not the one making the big decisions. I'm the one like helping out. And then one day later on in the future, maybe I am the lead, right? I will have built all of this experience. I will have seen it. I will have been a part of it, right? And I would have had the same education that entire time, all through that. I would have gotten that education from doing it instead of from going to school for it.
Danny, I don't know if you know how rigorous the thesis and especially the dissertation process is. So, a dissertation.
That's not a part of everyone's career. Like,
no, I'm saying for something as important as an architect designing skyscrapers, it should be that important.
If I see the entire process that somebody above me does, and I see that the building comes out perfectly on the other side, I feel like I should know what to do, right?
Seeing
And
the
maybe
process is a bachelor's level thing. A master's level and a doctorate level is understanding how the process works.
maybe I'll ask questions. I feel like you're not understanding. Like people can learn without college. People can get that extra they can get that extra experience to make up for the education.
I
don't think that it's a
can I
one-to-one
ask you a
thing.
question?
I don't think it's a one-to-one.
Can I just ask you a question? Because I didn't have a clear picture of this until I seriously considered grad school as an option for me. What do you think the dissertation process is like? So if you want to get your doctorate, you have to write a dissertation. Tell me what you think that process is like.
Let me tell you, Kale, I
just want to know what your
care,
perception
and I
of
don't
it is.
know because I'm not interested in that.
If
If I ever was to be interested in that, then I would look into it.
But I just want to know what your best guess is, so I know where you're working from, because you have.
How about you just
How
get
about
to
you-
the point, Kale? Because
How
I feel like
about-
you're trying to
yeah.
you're trying to do something here. Where
stop trying to divide us from you just
No,
because
I want
we're
to
not-
know
Yeah, how about
what
you
your
just-
perception of it is. I don't
It
want to.
doesn't matter what my perception of it is. What's your point?
My my point is, it's the grad school. So the dissertation process, the way it works is, at the beginning of your grad school career, if you're going for a doctorate, you reach out to a professor, an expert of the field, and you say, "Hey, I want to work with you. I want to study under you. I want to do my dissertation with you." And they say, "All right, sure, let's go. Let's go, bro. Let's do it." And you're like, "All right, dope. Let's do it." So you begin taking classes, and then you also are doing research on the topic. But then, towards the end of it, starting at the beginning, but towards the end of it, over the whole like 3-4 year career, you are working on your own. For example, for me, I'm a psych major, right? I'm going for a PhD in psychology. I'm coming up with an experiment or a study in the field, and I have to run the whole thing, right? Like the person I'm studying under has to oversee it, but I have to run the whole thing. I have to write the procedures. I have to do my research on the subject. I have to do all of that. And the way that the dissertation process works, it's very complicated and it's very rigorous, right? So the way it works is, you after your whole thing happens, right? You got your faculty research, right? You send your proposal over to the faculty, and you say, "Hey, this is my proposal for research. Here's my argument about why we should do it. Blah 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 blah." After that, you have to do your own research, right? And you have to come up with your manuscript. They will test you, right? They will say you get no. They come up with a definitive test. There's a board at like all the universities, the dissertation committee. They will come up with a test and they will say, "Hey, tell us everything you know about this topic. You have no sources, no anything. You have to know this topic like the back of your balls, right? Like you have to be like fully aware. You have to know every wrinkle on your scrotum for this shit, right?" And then after that, if you pass that, you have to go in front of the dissertation committee. They take all of this, all the results from your test and all the everything you've written down, and they grill you. They say, like you will go into that room, and they will grill the shit out of you, and they will say, "All right, here you go. Tell me everything that you know about this." And you have to defend your thesis, right? So you've done this study, this bit of research, this study, this experiment, whatever the fuck you chose to do, and you have to defend it against this panel of experts, the best in their field at this university, right? And they will be grilling you as hard as they possibly fucking can. And if you manage to go in front of them and defend your topic to the best of your ability, they will say, "Okay, you have a doctorate now." And that's the end of your doctorate, right? Like, I don't know if Jennifer has because Jennifer is going for a doctorate, right? I don't know if she's conferred upon you how difficult it is to get a doctorate. It's fucking hard. It is the hardest thing you will ever do. I have climbed mountains, and I would rather do that than get a doctorate. That shit fucking scares me, right? I'm not scared of a lot of things. That scares me. So, what I'm saying is, as rigorous as a doctorate process is, I think things of such importance as, building skyscrapers, doing medicine, that sort of thing, doing research, that sort of thing, should be gatekept behind the graduate school process, right? So if you're going to build the next Empire State Building, I would prefer if you had a doctorate rather than 20 years of experience, because first of all, it often takes a little bit longer for like a building, for example, right? If you're designing buildings, right? If you design a skyscraper, they usually don't collapse within 1 year. It usually takes them a little while to fall apart, right? So like it doesn't matter how long your experience is, if it's not being tested and being like looked over by a panel of experts and shit very rigorously, then it's like, it's a liability, right?
I would say that usually promotions are not given to people unless the people above you think that you are capable of that job, right? Most of the time when it comes to things like this. So if it's one of those things where I am at a company and I am maybe under like a boss who kind of believes in me, maybe they mentor me, maybe I learn from them, maybe I ask questions, however, whatever the situation is, and then they deem me, I guess, well trained enough, well experienced enough to tackle a project of that nature. I feel like they would understand what to look for. They would know what to look for because they're in that position, right?
Danny, what I just described, you've just described what grad school is. You
Yeah.
get an
Yeah, but
advisor
my
and they
whole
look
my
at you like that.
So
but that's the whole
so
point. Is I'm trying to tell you is that you don't need to go to school all the time in order to reach the same
the
place.
But
point is there are other
when
ways to get that same body of knowledge and you know I mean, obviously, the most legitimate way is by going through the college doctorate process for those extremely qualified positions. But at the same time, what you describe is similar to how a lot of people enter the workforce and build up their own experiences.
but
They
what I'm
learn
saying,
I think
under
that
experts, and they are doing the work and they're doing research. It's just in a different environment.
but they don't get grilled as much as a doctoral student is.
I think
And that's the point
it's
I was
it's
trying
a
to
little
make.
bit of like old-fashioned thinking to think that college is like the only path in order to get where you need to go. Because
It's not the only
nowadays
path. I
Or
there's a
that
agree
it
lot
with
more there's a lot more opportunities open and available to people in order to get the education and get the knowledge they need without necessarily going through school. Like I said, experience is a big one. People can self-teach themselves. People can do a lot of different things in order to get the experience they need for whatever position it is, right? I just think that it's a little closed-minded to think that you can only get there if you go to school. And there are positions, I will tell you, there are positions where it absolutely 100% is necessary that you get that education.
I'm
But
arguing
I
that
would
everyone in STEM should have to go to grad school. And
I
I'm
would
saying that your field should be a part of STEM. Would you
I
consider yourself a STEM student?
I understand what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that it depends on what sections of STEM you're looking at, and I think it depends on
your options
how.
also.
I guess it depends on.
Architecture would be
It
the
depends.
most important part of STEM.
It depends on, like, I guess how bad it would be to make a mistake in that field, and like I said, even if it is something like architecture or it is something like medicine, you know those things you can build up that experience. You don't got to start at like the most risky position. You don't got to start at the top level. You can build your way up there. So there's multiple ways to get to where you need to go. But like I said, there are examples where it's like 100% necessary. You get the experience, but it's more of a case by case basis. I would say that for like architecture, um, I would say it kind of matters a little bit, the circumstances, right? Because there's a lot of things to consider whenever it comes to like buildings. And like, let's say you are building in like a environment that you're very experienced with, you would you would probably be able to succeed. Whereas if you're not familiar with it, you're not going to succeed. And maybe college kids prepare for every single situation, and you only you only get experience from what you've done before, right? So in situations like that, I get it, but again, you just kind of gotta gauge your own level of experience whenever it comes to things like that.
I would say that in the STEM field, if we're including medicine in the STEM field, which probably it would be under the realm of science, right? Science,
Science,
technology, engineering,
engineering, and
mathematics.
math.
Yeah, right? I would say that aside from medicine, the field that is like most important to not fuck up is engineering.
Again, it really depends on what aspect of engineering, and it also depends on, I guess, the level of casualty if you make a mistake, right?
I would say that on the whole, if you're getting like architecture, design, that sort of thing, like building design, structure design, vehicle design as well. I know you probably don't want to build cars because you don't know shit about cars.
Uh, Maybe electric, but I'm not gonna learn these gas cars. I'm real bad at that.
Fair enough. Go work for Rivian. Go make me some money. But do that after you go to grad school, you fucker. But I would say that engineering
Why
on the
could you
whole,
not? Why could you not do it after you got your initial degree?
I think there's a lot of things
Like,
I can do with a bachelor's, and there's a lot of areas of growth if I get a bachelor's.
but if there's a
exactly.
fuck up in engineering, that is probably going to have more casualties than a fuck up in like calculus, right?
Well, that's
Like
why you don't get started in those positions when you start somewhere. You know, you build your way up. It's not like they put you at the top of like a company just after you get out of college and looking at your degree.
no,
You gotta
they
like,
often don't hire you unless you've been to grad school and you
I
have a
would
master's degree.
I would say that the way that I want to do it, at least, is that I want to get a bachelor's. I want to get in the field, and then maybe later on, if I want to progress in that field and I can't do that without a master's, then I would probably go for a master's if that's the route that I want to go to. But I don't want to jump to a master's if I don't need it for what I'm trying to do. And I feel like I only know if I need it once I get to the point where I'm at a roadblock. I feel
What
like
are you trying
I'll
to
that's a
design?
good point. Yeah, if you
I
only
feel,
see an obstacle in your work where like getting that higher echelon of education is crucial, then maybe you should go for it. But like at the present standing, there's nothing asking for it other than you, Kale.
What? All right. What are you trying to design, Danny? You've
I
told me
would
before you want to
say
design buildings.
I would say there's several different aspects of engineering that I'm interested in, and I'd have to look a little bit more into it. Maybe whenever I'm actually going to school and getting internships and talking to professors, things like that. Uh, but the fields that interest me the most right now, at least, are drafting, architectural engineering, robotics, maybe. Uh, you know, but I'm open. I'm open to try a lot of things, and I feel like the only way that I know 100% what I want to do is just by getting out there and kind of seeing what's offered, what's available, what I can go for, right?
Danny, I'm going to tell you for a fact, most companies would rather hire someone with a master's degree over someone with a bachelor's degree, no matter what level of experience. College degrees are that important, especially in the field of engineering.
And
So I
like
will
like I said,
caution you.
Nick, I want to get a bachelor's degree. I'm going to try to leverage that into a career, and if I need more education, there's nothing stopping me from getting that education later on.
I feel
I
like, especially if you want to not be in Houston anymore, if
Well,
you want to
Houston
afford
actually
Austin
is.
rent,
I would say Houston. The great thing about Houston and how close I am to it is that it's a major city, and there's probably a lot of job opportunities available to me in Houston. especially since we're like the center for like NASA. So we got lots of options in Houston.
Yeah,
If you're going to be a rocket scientist, you are going to have a doctorate, bare minimum.
but
There's a lot.
you're
There's a
also
lot of
surrounded by all
things.
these qualified people. You
But if
know,
you're working for NASA, you will need a doctorate, bare minimum, because they don't. So we are
I'm
not hiring a lot of people for NASA anymore. NASA is getting some really bad budget cuts because we are privatizing the shit out of NASA. So if you want to work for NASA directly, you
well,
need to be the best
it
of the
was
best.
it was just an example, but you understand, Houston's a big like
Yeah.
major city of the
Yeah.
United States, so there's
50
a lot
by
of
50 square
opportunity,
miles. Yeah.
right?
It's huge. Yeah.
So I'm trying to say that I can. I'm sure that with the help of my school, and with the help of like my professors and looking myself, I'll be able to find something where a bachelor degree will work, and then we'll make that work. We'll build off of that, and then if we need to, again, we can always pivot back to school later on.
You will be
But
the equivalent of a paralegal in the architecture field.
but why would you deny Danny the
I'm not
opportunity?
denying it. I'm just saying I don't think it's a sustainable career path. If he really wants to, like,
well, okay, but you have to also understand it's not just an easy decision for me to go, oh, let me do more school, because
it's expensive. Yeah.
I'm not as blessed as some other people whenever it comes to those sort of opportunities,
That
Danny, you know
exactly,
I
they'll
have
pay you to go to grad school,
exactly.
right? They will pay
I
you.
I understand how
Actually,
that works,
those
right?
people
But
get underpaid more traditionally more
there's a
than
lot of things that I need to worry about, and there's a lot of things that I want to do, and a big part of the reason why I'm trying to do this is because I'm trying to keep myself on a timeline, you know? Cuz if it was just about me, that would be one thing, but I have people that I'm trying to take care of, I have plans that I want to do. There's a lot to consider. So, if I'm able to do something with a bachelor's degree, that'll be great. If I have the opportunity to do more later on, that's also great. I think it's one of those things where I will work towards it, and we'll pivot if necessary. We'll adjust, we'll course correct, we'll do what we need to do. We just I can't plan for everything right now.
Yes, but what I will say is, if you want to be the next, Frank Lloyd Wright, I can't think of any other architects off the top of my head.
I
Was the
I
guy who designed the Eiffel Tower, was his name Eiffel? Like Pierre Eiffel? Was that his name?
his name was Eiffel, but I feel like you are maybe getting me confused. I said I want to be an architectural engineer, not an architect. There's a difference.
I feel like that requires more math.
I feel like
That's
Well,
really
that
more
you have to
math.
requires
understand,
understanding what Danny's talking about too.
architects are more on the artistic side, so they don't really worry about, I guess, the
So Frank Lloyd Wright gives you the design and you do the math to make it work, right? Roughly,
well,
yes or
it's
no?
not just me, but it's like a team of people usually. But yes, it's one of those things where we come up with drafts, we come up with the infrastructure, we come
Well,
up with the materials, we come up with
Frank Lloyd Wright
costs.
started as a draftsman. Frank Lloyd Wright started as a draftsman.
Yeah, but
But
drafting is like the first step of like everything else that architectural engineers
yes,
do.
he did not ever get an official degree, but he got out of college in the 1870s. This is no longer the 1870s. If you're going to get out of school and you're going to actually design buildings that follow OSHA, because remember, OSHA was created in the last 100 years, you know, you're going to have to, things got to be up to code. And that's a lot stricter than, oh, he took a couple classes at University of Wisconsin-Madison, didn't graduate with an actual degree, like it's a lot more stringent than the type of shit that we had 100 years ago. So you're going to have to be more versed in code and more versed in mathematics to the point where I specifically me, STEM student, Kale Nicholas Clugston, I do not see a
Are you a
path
STEM
forward
student?
for you. Yes, psychology is a science.
You know what's interesting that
I
you bring
guess.
up about that field is that, yes, the environment is constantly changing. And so it means you have to be very adaptable and learn very quickly. And having more of an experience in education could help you in, being more efficient as a learner. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, you are going to have to continue learning in the field regardless of how much or how high a tier of education you get. So it
You'll
it
probably have
seems
to do continuing education credits
but it
if you
seems
get a license.
it seems plausible enough that you can obtain and achieve a bachelor's degree and continue moving forward in the field without having to go directly back for more learning.
But you would be the equivalent of a paralegal. A, an
I
architect with a bachelor's degree is the equivalent. Uh, an architect with a bachelor's degree compared to an architect with a graduate school degree is the equivalent of a paralegal to a lawyer, right? They're different, and one of them has a lot more privileges and makes a lot more money.
Yeah, well,
I would
someone
say
sorry.
this, right? Whenever it comes to what you're saying, Nick, right? Is that I'm gonna go to school. I'm going to do the classes. I want to try to get the bachelor's, right? And while I'm at the school, I can talk to people that are a little bit more knowledgeable about the specifics of the field than you might be, and I'll figure it out from the people that I'm surrounded by. I'm sure I'll be talking to people that are in the fields, either doing internships or like job fairs or career fairs.
Your
They,
professors will have
professors too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of people that I want to talk to, and there's a lot of information that I still don't know about exactly what I'm trying to do, exactly where I'm trying to go. I might pivot a little bit while I'm in school. I'm saying that there's a lot of factors that I don't know, and I feel like I don't want to worry about adding onto my plate before I know everything that I want to do, that I want to achieve, where I want to go. I think it's one of those things where I just will adapt as I get that new information, right?
now. What I'm saying here right now is a prepare to go to grad school. Prepare to set aside that few years of your life. But if you do well enough in your bachelor's degree, they'll pay you. They'll pay you to go. You will get either an assistantship or a fellowship to go, or at least get like a tuition waiver.
That's not guaranteed though. I mean,
If
like,
you don't get a tuition waiver, you should not go to that school. Any person who went to grad school will tell you, if you do not get a tuition waiver or a fellowship or an assistantship, do not go.
okay, well, what if, like, if someone doesn't have that option, they can't just like not work until that opportunity shows up.
If you
So,
didn't do well enough in your bachelor's program to get some kind of tuition waiver, no matter, like, if you apply to every single school all over the country, to every single graduate program across the country, and you cannot get a single tuition waiver, like not even an assistantship, not even a fellowship, just a tuition waiver to where you don't have to pay them for going to school. You still have to pay for books, you still have to whatever. Like, if you cannot get a 100% tuition waiver, you should not go to that grad school. And if you've applied to every single school and you still can't get a tuition waiver, you should not go to grad school. It's just not in the cards. And I've fully accepted that for myself. If I can't get a tuition waiver or a whatchamacallit, then I'm not getting a PhD because it is expensive as shit otherwise. And I'm not trying to get into a position where I'm making like a cajillion fucking dollars. As a researcher, you're not going to make that much money. Even if you own the research laboratories like I'm trying to do, you're not going to make that much money. Like, if this podcast made if this podcast was half as big as Ludwig's, right? I would be making more money from this than I would be as a researcher. Like, y'all don't understand. Researchers are fucking poor, right?
Well, I think the
I think I
YouTubers are just
understand.
rich.
Yes, that is also true. But like, there's more money in content creation than there is in research half the time.
There's
Uh,
always been more money in entertainment, though. That's just how entertainment is.
especially if I was a like psychology researcher. There's not as much, especially if I'm doing like I'm not trying to do like psychiatric research. I'm not trying to do like pills and stuff, like animal trials on pills and stuff. Like, fuck that. That sucks. Um, yeah, I don't want to do that. So I want to do like behavioral research. Um, technically neurochemistry is what I want to do my thesis on, and like nobody's paying for that, right? Like, even if I told you what my thesis was on, you would think it was cool, but I don't think you'd pay that much money for it, right? Because I think I've told Maxwell what I want to do, right? Maxwell, do you remember what I want to do my thesis on?
Um, vaguely.
How,
I don't
how about
know.
you explain it? How about you explain your understanding of it?
I mean, you want to do research, correct?
What do I want to do research on? What do I want to do my dissertation on?
I don't freaking remember. It was something to do with like, I don't know what you
Telepathy.
could say. Telepathy. Okay.
Roughly telepathy, right? That's cool, but how much money would you spend on it? Not a lot, you know.
Well, I don't know. It depends. It sounds like, if it's something that I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't sound like a very fruitful venture. So I kind of get why you wouldn't really pay a lot of money on that.
Mental manipulation of electromagnetic fields.
Telepathy, um, yeah. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Like, yeah. So I'm not going into it for the money, but I know that even if I didn't have if I didn't have a PhD and I went into the research field, I would be getting coffees. Like, that's
Well,
what you get if you're not the getting a doctorate in the research field, or if you're not getting a doctorate in the law field. If you're a paralegal, you're basically getting coffees for people. I'm sorry, like, it's a respectable field, but at the end of the day, you're mostly just getting coffees for people. If you have a bachelor's degree, you're in a cubicle all day. Like, you're 9 to 5 making $70,000 a year, right? Like, you don't have that much of a path upwards.
I would say for now, I am just going to stick with my current plan, and I'll course correct if I need to, whether that's master's degree, whether that's doctor's degree, whether that's
Yeah. Sorry.
a,
Wait. I'm
a
sobering up.
certificate, whether that's extra education in some other aspect. Whatever I need to get, whatever I want to achieve, we'll figure it out. I just don't believe right now that it's worth it for me to worry about it
Have
too
you?
much. Maybe I'll just keep it in the back of my mind though.
Yeah.
Let me get to my point though, because I just sobered up enough to realize what my point was.
There was a point.
Yes.
Mhm.
So right now they have me taking psychology as a science and career, right? So it's like half the class is analyzing journal articles, like scientific journal articles. We turned in the last one of those papers a while ago. Um, it was yeah. They give us like 4 papers of like, here, analyze these journal articles, and yeah. And now the rest of the class is, here are people who are working in certain fields of psychology. They're gonna come in. They're gonna talk about what they do at their job. you write reflection papers on them, right? So it's a mandatory class in my major, psychology, and no one that I've seen has had less than like a master's, right? So, actually, we did have a paralegal, and I'm pretty sure she had a master's. I can look right now. But if you want to be making any kind of money, if you want to stay in Houston or Austin or something like that, if you don't want to live in the middle of butt fuck nowhere, you probably should be seeking higher education. Because it is.
I don't think your geography is limited by how educated you are.
No, but like if you want to live in the fourth largest city in the country, Houston, you're gonna need some cash.
I thought we already established that Danny doesn't want to live in Houston.
Austin is probably more expensive than Houston because it's basically all Californians.
I think that for right now, my only real goal is to get out of this house. Long term, I'll think about either moving cities or maybe moving to a nicer part of the city or maybe moving out of the state. But for right now, I think it's not worth a lot of my mental capacity to think too far into the future. I feel like I have a lot of problems I need to figure out now before I figure out those problems, you know?
That's true. All I'm saying is don't expect to stay with a bachelor's degree and have a career. If
Well,
you want a job, stick with a bachelor's. If you want a career, get a master's.
well, you know, I will keep that in mind, but I think for now, it's about that time, Nick.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
so
I told you
too.
we were making this 3 hours long.
No,
Nick, I
I'm
just realized that somebody is waiting outside for me, so I need to go like really quick.
Okay, we can do the big red button after, but we also have to talk about Invincible. So I think I
no,
might
so
just do.
no.
I have to leave like now, so like either we
Either
can
we have
finish
a button.
this.
Yeah,
Danny,
Like-
you can go. I think I'll just finish this with Maxwell later.
I'm not either. I have things to do tonight too, and I have
I'm
to
not
get.
talking
I
about
have to go
tonight.
to
We can
campus.
have
Well, if-
these two, and then we can do the rest of it later with Maxwell.
If you want, we can do like a 30-minute segment like another day, but I gotta go. So
No, like you're done. I'm done with you. You're good.
Okay, see you, Danny.
okay,
Bye, Danny.
Uh,
Love you. All right, we'll be back in a bit. Love you. Actually, it won't be a bit for you, but it'll be a bit for us. Okay, love you. Goodbye.
bye bye.